And what a shot from Kirika, taking that off the ceiling, underneath the ball, and straight down the middle.
Oh, there it is, out of the blue!
2 seconds left on the clock and the Joker finds something out of nothing!
Now, that pass from Shadow was immaculate, playing it straight down center. He just had to get a touch, and it's all he needed.
Sonic has a chance, it's an open net if he sees it. Looking for the shot downfield, goes into the corner, Kilogram! He gets the goal!
They're just in front of the net. Nuke barely keeps it out there, dies on the goal line. The last shot, it finds it through. Entity gonna pick it up.
And we are back, and this is week 3 RSC. You might notice something a little bit different. I'm not sure if you can notice it yet, but it is not me, Greybeard. It is me, the Bromeo, hosting you tonight. So you're probably going to ask, where is Greybeard? So Greybeard was at Comic-Con today, and not sure if you guys know that it's busy going on right now. It's a pretty big thing. A lot of the master players were playing there, and that's why they didn't want to play here tonight. And tonight's going to be a whole bunch of lower lobby legend games, and I think we prefer it that way. That's why the RSC was made. So just a little hazard to the peeps in chat. I see you, Silver. I see you, Ford Hilux Dogman. How's it? Hey, even Greybeard's here watching the stream, but he's not here hosting with me. So that's got to be a first for everything. So bear with me, and this night's going to be a lot of fun. But first of all, like we do every week, I'd just like to thank our sponsors, mainly Nixa, for being the prize pool sponsor, absolute legends that they are, and as well as Genesis Extreme for running this superb broadcast. So mad props to them, and thanks. It would not be possible without them. So this week is going to be a special one, but before I get onto that, let's talk about some merch. Greybeard mentioned it last week. These sick looking t-shirts are the order form is in the RSC server right now. We'll post a link just now. Every single cent made from these sick looking t-shirts is going to go straight back into the league to make it better for you guys. I'm not sure if about you guys, but I think I'm going to be picking up a black and a white one. I think in the shop we can also choose between red and blue, but I really like the clean look of the white one. So make sure that you put your order in. We'll only bring it through when we've picked up at least 20, so we'll see where we're at with that. But seeing where we are at, it is week 3 of RSC League play. We're a third of the way down, and I'm not sure if you can see the lovely icons there in week 1 and week 2. You could see who finished top of the standings. So this week, we're not sure who's going to take top, but that is why we are here. We've got a long way to go, but I'd be interested to see how many times each respective franchise can feature. We saw DSQ featuring in week 1, Dynasty in week 2, and now we're here in week 3. So you can see finishing off the standings in week 2, Dynasty on top, DSQ Esports in second, Critical Force in third, very, very close, followed by Shadow Esports, Bro Community, XP, and a little bit sad down the way, Redirect, Order of Oaks, Unitox, and Fort Templar. So that is your standings currently. We've got a couple of those franchises featuring tonight. I think Dynasty, there we are. Jokers versus Tswana is going to be our first game of the night. Prospect. Then match 2 is going to be DSQ Viola versus the Order of Oaks Jawlers. And then match 3 is Brolific versus Dynasty Jax. And then Critical Force featuring again with Omega Force versus Redirect Accelerate. So it's going to be a jam-packed evening tonight, and it's going to be 2 prospect games and 2 rival games. So I won't hold on to this for too long. So I'm going to hand off to my lovely little casters here. We've got Vector returning once more with Hodge. How are you boys doing?
Yeah, I'm very glad to be back once again, Bromeo. I mean, it's a little strange that it's not a grey bearded man in front of me. I hold people to lofty, vaunted standards in the hosting spot, but you're doing a great job so far. So, yeah, keep it up. I'm glad to be back again, as I said, and alongside Hodge, who I believe I've casted with in RSC EU as well. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm just praying for the day I get to cast a game higher than at least rival, but we get what we get.
Do you know what? When you get some more grey hairs on your beard, you will be calling those
What
shots.
beard? That's never gonna happen.
You see, like I'm the mid beard. I'm not the grey beard, and I'm not the blonde beard either. I'm somewhere in the between.
I'd take the middle ground, but I can't get there. So.
And Hodge, how are we?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely incredible. Pleasure to be here, joined alongside both of you. It's been a while since I've been here over at the SSA scene since I believe it's season 2. The last time I casted over here. Actually, no, it was the marble race, the legendary marble race. If anyone was
There we go.
tuning into that. But yeah, pleasure to be here and casting some prospect and rival games here alongside Vector. So it's going to be a great day, and I'm really excited to get into it.
I know, Vector. I know, Vector, you were complaining that you were only going to do Prospect and Rival, but the second cast is coming through. We're going to be doing Prospect and Rival again. But before I say any more, the players are ready to get going, and it's enough of my waffling. So I'm going to leave you two to take us into our next fixture, which is Dynasty Jokers versus a Unitox Tswana.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily assuage my pain there. The fact that the casters that we're going to have later on are facing the exact same prospect. And speaking of prospect, we begin our first match of the night with Jokers versus Tswana. Unitox versus Dynasty, and this one I'm very interested to watch, Hodge, because I've seen Jokers twice on stream already. I saw them in the preseason final. They took down Accelerator 4-1. They've been a strong contender since the very beginning of the season. They're still at the very top of their table in Ignis in the conference that they're part of, and almost spookily, Unitox and Dynasty, they're very far apart in franchise standings. They're very far apart in this table as well. I think it's going to be a tough match for Tswana.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, both teams having very, very different couple of opening matches here this season so far. I mean, when you look to Jokers, like you say, they've had a very, very good start. Like you say, they won that opening sort of match, and then they also brought things into week 1, brought things into week 2 with, you know, a pretty good showing. They tied a game, I believe, against Cassia, and then also took a 4-0 victory in week 1, which, you know, is amazing by all standards, but just shows that you can come out really, really strong and have those sort of performances against Cubs, I believe it was. So when you look down towards the likes of Tswana, they maybe necessarily haven't had as good of a start, but they'll certainly be looking to pick it back up here.
They certainly will. A 0-1-1, that would be 0 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, of course, in the RSC SSA scene. They only play 1 match a week, slightly different from the European scene if people are more used to that. So we won't necessarily see the table start to take shape and the disparities begin to show between the teams until we're about week 5, week 6. But this is a good opportunity for both sides to continue, well, not continue on. Obviously, Tswana want to start to change their fortunes, but for Joker's sake, it's the 3rd match on stream. They've got plenty of experience on the live stage, and I'm expecting them to be the stronger contender, as you can see here from the player lineup. You see Clerks at the top, which is otherwise known as Eclipse, usually what is playing on the pitch, even that I've seen him as. Dogman, High Frequency, and Muzz. We've not seen much of Muzz this season. I'll be hoping to see him at some point on stream. It'll be interesting to see how a caster performs on the field. You know, they have a lot of criticisms, or we have a lot of criticisms towards the players, and it's good to put your money where your mouth is. But I'm really expecting Clerks, or Eclipse as otherwise known, to continue to be the catalyst for this team. He's playing well above the prospect level. I've seen it happen twice now, and I think the same thing is going to happen. But they actually kind of struggled last week. Like I said, they were on stream in week 2. They started league play well, as you said, with that sweep, but they were somewhat rocked by Gelvi, and they struggled to really get things going. They went in a 2-2 draw there. So looking at this Tswana team, is there anything that stands out to you that could do the same thing to them tonight?
Well, I think right now with this Swana team, where sort of, we talked about that team of Jokers having that, one standout player and then everyone else sort of helping out where it's needed to fill the gaps. This looks like, to me, based off of these statistics, just at face value, a bit more of a balanced team across the board. You see, everyone sort of contributing here, and whereas it can work, it obviously hasn't been working for them in these, opening 2 games. So I'm interested to see if that's a strategy that they keep going into this third game here, or maybe they look to switch things around, and maybe, we do see a bit of a pop-off performance from, a singular player here. And if so, I wonder who that could be.
I do wonder as well, since I've not seen them play as of yet. The league table doesn't do them any favors in terms of their performance, but you never know. Chaos is something that a lot of players can thrive in, or the spotlight even, and being on the stream here could be some sort of catalyst, some sort of boon for them, for these players, and this may be an opportunity to strut their stuff and show what they're capable of. That was certainly the case last week when Jokers came face to face against Gelvi. They were rocked out the gate, and they struggled with that. So it could be the same situation here, but of course, 4-game series, you don't get a lot of time to build momentum. You kind of have to hit the ground running in league play in the regular season, and I'm hoping for both sides to at least come out and compete and give us something to shout about in the first game and the second game. But yeah, it's just going to be an interesting way for both teams to show once again what they're capable of. Jokers continuing what they've been doing since the beginning, but for Swana, a potential wake-up call, potential rejuvenation, a renaissance in the world of Rocket League, and I'm just hoping to see some fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely, and fireworks we will get by the sound of things, because this game is ready to go. Jokers and Swana in our series of 4. First match on the day, and first match of the day gives us an opening goal right off the kickoff.
Oh, goodness.
And there we go.
Start as you mean to go on. This is exactly the way that Jokers play the game. Literally 2 seconds in, the quickest goal I assume that the SSA scene has ever seen. It would be miraculous if you managed to get a quicker goal than that, but of course, at the behest, at the cost of Swana's goal difference here. 1 goal down already, less than 10 seconds in. I mean, kickoff goals happen. They're not quite warmed up. Maybe they just weren't ready for it. It is prospect. You have to give them a little bit of leeway, but that's not the start you want, and they have to recover quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if they're going to be able to do so. You see a couple of players trying to jump and challenge for this one, but it is just going to roll back over to the Joker's side of the field, where Future Life's going to try and work his magic downfield, but not able to get very far, so Wheatbix has to take over. That's also just going to be sent away back down to this Joker's half again, and where it really is just this back and forth style of gameplay that we're witnessing right here, as everyone just tries to make a statement in this first game, see if they can open up the score sheet for their team. Jokers have already done it, but Swana, they want to try and find something to get back and put this into a tied game, but that's going to be blocked out, and well, it is going to be once again back over to the Joker's side of the field.
Opportunity gone begging there in open play, as another chance goes begging for Swana to try and get one through there. Not going to happen. Jokers continue to push down the field, as I believe it's the wrong way around in terms of colours. I'm not sure if I'm looking at that correctly. That might just be my eyes. It says Jokers is blue on the top, but of course the team Jokers are in red at the moment, so that may be a mistake on my part. We'll still have to see. Either way, the side of Eclipse, Dogman and High Frequency are in the lead as it currently stands. They have not necessarily scored in open play, and we've not seen that many opportunities come through. There is one here for Future Life off the backboard, not going to be able to make the connection with a second touch. Weetabix does have control here for the merest of moments as High Frequency gets the touch across, was on target, but Alex is in position to swat that away. Still back here in the Swana half. Going to be Eclipse to try and pick this up off the side wall. Does have a little bit of space, but no boost to work with. Somehow gets it as far as he did, but no avail to that second goal. Elusive goal for Jokers here.
Yeah, and well, here we see the challenge into the corner, so just looking to see if anyone's going to try and get a little bit aggressive here, maybe take some chances. Who's going to be able to start creating some shots? We haven't really seen anything since that kickoff goal, but hold on, here's an opportunity, saved away though by Wheatbix, and Swana, they're going to hold on this defensive side for a little bit longer, but you've got to get that down the other end, and we've seen this ball hover in this Joker's sort of defensive side of the field, and as another chance is created, it's going to have to be saved away, and the shots are just going to keep coming through. This is really good for Swana, but it doesn't matter unless you sink that shot. And I'm interested to see if someone's going to be able to get up there and do it, but not quite yet. It is just going to be cleared over to the corner, but someone needs to challenge that. Someone needs to get on the end of it, and no one was quite able to until that final second, but regardless, it is cleared away, and now they're going to look for a counter-attack.
As the seconds tick by, the fragility of a one-goal lead will start to dawn upon Jokers. They've been in this situation before. Of course, they'll be happy to be in the lead, but Swana could have come out of nowhere and get one in the blink of an eye. A chance here for Future Life, not quite enough, not the control, not the precision that they're looking for going forward. Alex has the word patience here to find his touch to the midfield. No one willing to follow up, gives a free clear for Jokers back down the field. Now control possession back in the hands of Swana. Just going to be back and forth in this situation. Joker's not willing to push up the first man. They don't want to commit too many players forward when they know they just have to defend this lead, but that's not always the best strategy. They could be caught out very quickly. And they're just about holding on as time goes by, because the offense, as you can clearly see, is not working out for Swana, and they have to change something up in this final minute, or they're going to find themselves down one game off of a kickoff goal.
Well, let's find out if they're going to be able to do it. Still a lot of time left for them to change what has been known this game. They've had some good pressure, they've had a couple of good shots, but it doesn't matter if you can't get that final goal. Eclipse taking things to the backboard. Will he be able to find an angle? The answer is no. It's just be back here to Dogman, who's going to try and look for the net, but just another save coming through again here from Jokers. It's really been a bit of a shiny half of them here. That shot is on target, but saved away once again. So now we start to get into these final 30 seconds of game number one, and well, this is where it is go time. It is put up or shut up for Swana. They've had this pressure, and that's a massive mistake here, and that will be capitalized on. It is a Joker's goal, and it's the second one that we've seen here, and like you say, I think I've also been a little bit confused by this overlay and at the top.
I'm sure he'll be sorted out rapidly. Can't quite say the same for Swana's chances here in game one, as that offensive stint there from Jokers was perfect. The last 30-40 seconds there, complete control, and they continue to do so here as Eclipse finds the third for Jokers in the embers of game one. They've really started to spark their own fire in this series, and they knew that holding on to a one-goal lead, not that smart. It's not going to be the best way to control a Rocket League game, because it could just happen at any moment. A random pinch, a hit down the field, a simple counter-attack would have been enough for an equalizer, but they did recognize that Swana weren't threatening nearly enough down the midfield lane, and weren't getting into positions that were just going to be difficult for them to deal with on the defensive side. They simply had the better of this game, and the 3-0 scoreline, I think they didn't necessarily, it flatters Jokers here because they didn't score until the last 30 seconds to get those last two goals, and Swana did hold on, merit to them for the majority of this opening game, but they showed very little on the opposing side, and that's the place that they need to seriously sort out their woes, or this is going to be a short night for them.
Yeah, first game goes the way of Dynasty, and well, I mean, that is sort of what we expected coming into this matchup. It has to be said, they are going to take the first game of this 4-game series, so still a couple of chances here for Swana to try and find their way back into this, but those chances will go very, very quickly. And, you know, like we say, there's 3 outcomes of a series in RSC SSA. It's a win, it's a draw, or a loss, and if they want to win, they now have to go perfect.
They certainly do. A tough ask, tall order to make, but I saw some little nice bits in there from them throughout that game, especially at the start. Despite the fact that they went down 1 goal, they didn't sit back and they didn't get scared. They weren't cowardly about their approach to the game. They still pushed forward and they still took chances. They just couldn't finish them. They didn't have that wherewithal to get in the final third and make those crucial plays that can be so difficult to score a goal. We just need 1 goal. We just need 1 equalizer. And it can sort of get into the back of your minds there. Just a bit of housekeeping for you here. The names of Future Life and Weetabix, slightly different to the database, confused me for a second, but that is Matthew and Tox, which will be the lowest CMV player on Unitox's side. Tox is at 950. For some reason, Eben not playing here on stream tonight, but it makes no difference so long as they cannot managed to score a goal, and they are currently being shut out completely by this Joker's defense. And I'm expecting them to continue to do so here in game 2, but no early kickoff goal. They're doing better than they did in the first.
So far, so good, but you've got to keep that trend going. It does seem right now that it's a little bit of an even start to this game, but, well, Joker's come out quite strong in the last one. Let's see if they're going to be able to do so again throughout this game number 2. But here we are, there's a little bit of pressure here, it seems, onto this Joker's net. So a little bit of danger, but the danger is not going to result in anything.
There's some threatening, faulty moments here for Joker's defense. They find another one through. Alex is just flipping across to the front, but plenty of space for Future Life to take a touch. Take it over one. Can he get it over more? Not able to follow the ball himself. Eclipse perfectly positioned to keep this one out and away. The chances continue to be few and far between for Swana, but they're holding their own at the back. This one's just going to be leveled at Weetabix, who can play it to his far corner. No threat there to deal with. Dogman opts to stay back, takes the boost as well. This is going to limit Weetabix's options. They send Dogman to push forward. Doesn't get further than the second man. Future Life is able to get this past another. Eclipse might have taken it past his own defender as they find their way through. First goal for Swana. Alex is the one to do it. The top CMV player of this team makes his mark, strikes his way forward, and takes the first lead for Unitox in this series. This is exactly the way they wanted to respond after game 1, and they're starting to punish the mistakes that Jokers are making.
It took 6.5 minutes for the adjustment to be made, but better late than never, and Swana are able to start out game number 2 with a goal. Can you keep that momentum going though, or is this just a little bit of an opening to a bit of a shutdown here from Jokers? We'll have to find out, but still 3 minutes on the clock, so what is going to happen now? Alex trying to get things off to a good start here once again for Swana, as a shot is just going to go a little bit wide, and now we play things into the midfield once again. Who's going to get on the end of that challenge? Well, it is back into the midfield once more, as it just sort of neutrally just seems to just keep, resulting in a bit of carnage every time someone tries to take possession, and the 50s just go wherever you don't expect them to go, I think is what I would say about this. And well, I honestly have no idea where this game is going to go to. So right now
it's somewhat of a stalemate, despite the fact that Swana are in the lead. We find ourselves at the halfway mark, and well, we'd have expected more from Jokers by this point, and Swana hoping, of course, that it wasn't a flash in the pan. They managed to get one through. It was completely an open play. They made it all their own, but now the onus is on Jokers, the ones that are at the top of the table. This is completely unexpected for them to be in a deficit at this point in a series. And the fact that it's only one goal, of course, leads to the dangerous, precarious situation of a potential equaliser for Jokers. But they haven't seen all that much, certainly not as much control as we did in the first. Of course, for most of the game, they only had one goal out of it. It was only off of kickoff, only by the end, when Swana essentially capitulated, essentially fallen apart, that Jokers really took things in its stride. But they've been held back in this game, and it's hurtling towards the final minute. Swana are doing to Jokers exactly what they did to them in the first.
Well, yeah, here's an opportunity.
Oh, nice little touch.
Future Life can land that one. Another opportunity as everyone just bails in to try and finish off on the shot, but no one's quite able to put it in the back of the net. 1 minute still remaining for a counter-attack to be found from Jokers, and now this is the opening. But what can you do with that opening, as Eclipse has popped things up? But who's next to the challenge? It's infield Eclipse now to finish the dinner, and he's done just that to tie up the game here. Match number 2, and Jokers have found a way back into it.
Ah, sneaky little poacher's goal, and Future even got a touch on that one, but just not enough. Eclipse, as he circles back round off of the corner boost, keeps ball cam on, knows that opportunity is going to come to him, and he finishes it off with a plum to equalise towards the end of game 2. Exactly what Swana weren't hoping for, a nightmare in this situation, but clearly they've been woken up once more by Alex, bags his brace and takes it back to a 2-1 game. A great little touch by Weetabix. I'm sure he would have wanted to hit the target, pin that bottom left himself, but he will get the plaudits for a cheeky little assist, and thankfully for them in this final minute, they've responded immediately, have that control, get back in Joker's faces, make sure they can't sit back and relax, and make sure that they are still in the driver's seat. Now they've just got to hold on.
Well, easier said than done, right? But we know that Jokers is a team that is not going to just go away and let them have this win. They're going to fight to the bitter end of these 40 remaining seconds. Here we go. Here's Weet-Bix, though, on the side of Swana, trying to make it 3, but that's a bit of an awkward miss there. And that will be the instant capitalization from the likes of Jokers. They're able to make things 2-2 once again. And 33 seconds remaining for someone to try and make their mark, or is this going to be going over to overtime?
I keep saying it because it's the truth. One goal is not enough. Just the simplest of mistakes, mechanical errors on the back line can leave you wanting. Another equal game. Just with the 30-second mark gone, Alex does get a shot away, banking on that hat-trick to go through, but Dogma managed to get to touch, and multiple misses go through for Swana here on the chance to double commit. Future Life and Alex go for that both, and Weet-Bix makes an extremely dangerous play as the third man almost leaves that wide open. Thankfully for them, it wasn't on target. Still, hold your breath because it could just be a buzzer beater here. Never mind. Overtime in game 2, and between first and 8th, completely unexpected, at least for me.
Well, absolutely. Here we go, though. Here's Weet-Bix taking the skies off the back wall. Can't quite find a double, but this is going to bounce up. Who's going to be first to it? Misses come through on both sides, and thankfully for Eclipse, he is able to get the touch. So Alex has to jump into action to have any chance of getting that one cleared away. And now also going to go on the offense, but this is beat back over to the Swana side of the field. Someone's got again on it, and Weet-Bix thankfully is able to. Eclipse, though, is just going to pop this one up off the sidewall, but that is just going to not be the recipient of anyone on the Joker's side of things. So, Swana, they have to take things back to square one, back into their side of the field, and someone's got to start, getting some offense going here. Here's an opportunity. Weet-Bix has to find the shot, but the miss comes through as well, and that will just end up going into the top bins. What are we witnessing here? I'm not sure, but it is going to go the way of Swana regardless.
One of the wildest ways to get a hat-trick that I've ever seen. Alex, of course, will be grinning ear to ear to be the recipient of that. And Unitox, take a game back. Take control of this series once more. Well, not necessarily control, but they've managed to bring back equality to the proceedings. And a weird way to do it. Joker's struggling to find any sort of rhythm throughout that game. I mean, they obviously got the 2 equalizers, and they certainly earned them. How much you want to posit that to Unitox's lack of defense, shall we say. But you can clearly see here from the stats, Eclipse leading the way as we know him to be that catalyst for the team, but he needs help. High frequency, not even breaking 100 points, only 11 ball touches, and for any Rocket League player in any sort of competitive sense, that is just simply not enough. He'll admit it himself that he is not performing to the standard that we expect, and he probably expects of himself. So he'll need to book his ideas up as the series goes on, because if that is the way that they perform when one player's not doing enough, it can't be a 2v3. It just simply can't. A lot of the times it's a 1v3 for Eclipse's sake, which is not to put down the other 2 players. It's just how good he is. He's above prospect level in my opinion, and I imagine a lot of other people's as well. But we're talking about all that Jokers did wrong. All the things that Swana did right, they really stepped it up in that second game, and they showed much more of what they previewed in the first game, shall we say, and I think they've got a strong stand-in going forward in this series.
Yeah, absolutely, and the dream of that win is absolutely still alive here for Unitox, for this team of Swana. But here we go. You've now got to go with, are you going to take this win, or are you just going to end up playing for a draw? And that's a question we'll find the answer to very, very soon. But instantly reminiscent of game number 1, it's Jokers off the kickoff. It took them no time at all. And if you give High Frequency a margin, he will take the entire page.
And look who it is. 90 points, 11 touches last game. Scores within 10 seconds the next time around. I mean, that's how you respond to me. I'm certainly going to... how you respond to critics in general. That's exactly, of course, what he wanted, and pushed his team forward back into the lead overall in this series. Happy to take it, and we'll be looking for more, I'm sure, as Alex bats away another opportunity for the Joker's offense. Going to keep that one as far as the midfield line. Eclipse rotates with very little boost there. It's looking dire for Joker's overall boost count, but straight back to high frequency, the goal scorer to the backboard. Just going to be given plenty of space to do with this as he pleases, but Future Life does respond to the threat. Weetabix goes flying for it, but it's still in this Swanna half, and of course, we've seen them in this position before in the first game. They didn't manage to respond at all. When they go down, they seem to sort of sit back a little bit too much, get a little bit too coy about going forward and making those plays happen. But they scored 3 goals in the last game. They could certainly do it again.
Oh, they absolutely could. And let's see what Swanna are going to start to cook here as Alex puts things into the corner and makes a quick recovery to try and stay with the play. But that play is not going to be able to be kept held with, and that possession is going to go over now to the side of Jokers, who tried to work the magic, but the magic has been put to a stop. Now the redirect has to be found. It ends up just being an infield here to Swanna accidentally, but they're not able to capitalize off it. The mistouch comes through on the offense as well, so it's a little bit possession switches here, there, and everywhere it seems, but who's going to be able to find that crucial shot? Maybe it's Weet-Bix down from above, but no, it's saved away, passed upwards and to the ceiling for Jokers, who get to touch downfield. But you know, this can be quite easily cleared away, so someone has to start challenging. Eclipse is that person to do so, who puts it on the backboard, tries to slot the angle, but it's into the corner. And now, who's next up?
Dogman with the cat ears, as I noticed just a few moments ago. That threw me off a little bit, and I'm assuming it will everybody else. But thankfully, it's not weighing his card down. Managed to get a decent clear there, and now Eclipse to follow up, try to get the bump as well. The disruption not quite working because Alex has already jumped well ahead of time. Doing well to keep that away from the danger areas. Eclipse just going to send it high, makes both defenders jump, however. Weetabix to catch. Picks it up. That one was a massive pinch and was headed towards the red net, but thankfully someone was just in the way. The roadblock prevents an equalizer coming through for Swanna here as this one's sent towards the blue net once more. Weetabix through the corner, and that's all he can do. A nice demo, opens up space. A cheeky little touch as well, picked up by the same player to make it. Dogman through the corner, able to get it past 1 and 2. This is going to be threatening auras for Swanna for just a little bit of time as Eclipse all the way to the middle. No one there! Where's the second man, Hodge?
Well, we won't find the answer to that because it's already cleared downfield, and we have another attack starting here from Weet-Bix as Swanna is going to try and start to rekindle any sort of hope that they've got left in this game, and still 2 minutes to make something happen. But like you said there, it was a wide open net. You need to have someone pressuring and trying to challenge, and unfortunately for them, they didn't. Here we go though, Future Life trying to get things cleared as Weet-Bix off the wall, not going to make contact with this, so back to square one, and the challenge is coming through already from Jokers, so Swanna has to, all 3 members try and go into danger mode as they try to all scramble for something, but now they've found the breakaway. The contact has to be made, and Dogman is able to clear that one away for the time being. But already here comes the 3-headed dragon of Swanna as they try to once again, you know, cling to some last hope of bringing this game back. And well, we've seen them score goals before, but have we seen them do it from a deficit? I'm not quite sure.
So we've seen game 1 repeating itself so far.
No.
Alex not looking for this 4th of this series. It's going to be the 2nd for Jokers all the way down the field. It is almost exactly a carbon copy of the first game. Jokers score early and then just hold on to what they've got. I don't really rate it because it's always a risk, but for some reason it's working. They score their goals late. They sit back. They clearly waste opportunities we saw earlier on. Swanna themselves have been victims of that mentality too, but it's just been favoring Jokers all the more. And I struggle to see why that is necessarily the case. Is it just a matter of the fact that as soon as they concede a goal, they don't believe in themselves anymore? They've shown plenty of trust on the defensive side. I've seen a couple of back passes where they really shouldn't have risked it, but it managed to work out. Now going back down the field, 20 seconds, they have to score 2 goals. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, and I fear for them in that regard because they seem like a decent team when they take the lead. You're not always going to get that chance. They have to be able to fight back, and they're looking lackluster in that regard. But you never know. You never know, Hodge. Don't close your eyes. 5 seconds left. We get 1 goal maybe. We'll just have to see.
Well, anything can happen. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really. but anything can happen. Like
Have
you said,
faith, man.
5 seconds remaining.
Believe.
I do have faith.
And they've just...
but
Was that a fake
now.
kickoff?
I don't have faith anymore.
I can't even tell what just happened. It just looked like no one went for the ball, but no one had any boost either. That was... What is going on with this series?
I had faith and then I didn't.
An overtime goal that was just a bouncer into the top left. They abandoned the kickoff for the opportunity to score with 5 seconds left. I feel like there was a plan there, but not everybody was told what it was, and it just completely fell apart in the in practice. In theory, it was okay, but there was lack of communication, and it was just all a mess. And it ended up a little closer than maybe people expected in that regard. I thought it was just going to be another simple 3-0 for Jokers by the end of that game. Didn't seem to happen, and the ball chasing will make it look like it was a lot closer than it actually really felt like. Swana had very little throughout that game, a far cry, a darker shade from what they were in the second, and I was sad to see it because we saw what they were capable of. They could do it. That's the whole thing with Rocket League, though. Consistency. If you can't do it time after time after time, game after game, then you just don't deserve to be a victor. And in this case, they're not going to be. The best they can fight for is a draw. And while Jokers, they held on. As much as I don't like their strategy, it's working.
Well, a draw at the end of the day is better than a loss. So Unitox, coming into this 4th game, you just have to win it. Simple as that. You have to win it. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just got to win it.
Win. It's easy.
Yeah, it's easy, right? You can just beat the number 1 team in your league. Beat the number 1 team in Prospect, as you do. But here we go. We're on to game number 4. We're on to the junkyard. But who will become? I don't want to use the word trash. It sounds very mean here, but
I mean, it's appropriate for the arena. We're in the wasteland. It's where they belong. If they fail,
that's why I wanted to say it. Who? All right, I'll do it. Who is Swana going to become the trash of this first match, or are they going to redeem themselves to slightly more of a nicer thing to talk about? But I'm not sure what's better. Like, everything's better.
And if you're a little bit quicker than me, Hodge, you would have caught it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. As we see a triple commit here from Swana's defense. Thankfully, no Joker player was able to follow up, but they haven't scored in the first minute once again. If we're seeing some shades of the second game, if Swana can get a lead, maybe, just maybe, we'll see another draw in the prospect here, but Dogman's looking to make that a little bit more difficult than it might have been for Unitox's sake, as a follow-through is not found by the Joker's offense. Back into this midfield charade, this monopoly of control by Jokers throughout this series has been, well, it's been there, but it's not always been the strongest. There's again another double commit from Swana. They're starting to see their cracks widen up in their defense, and they seriously need to sort those issues out if they have any chance of salvaging this series.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to. Weet-Bix has to find this reception into a decent place on the pitch, and unfortunately for him, it's going to rebound back out into some Joker's possession. And Eclipse is faster this one, but has no boost to control it. It's just going to pass this one down. I actually love that touch, but it's only good when your second man's ready and waiting to follow it up. It did seem like there was a little bit of communication issues, I think is the nicest way of putting that one. But here we go back over to the Joker side of the field. Swana have had a couple of good, I guess you can say, attacks, and well, they have to keep that going. It's as simple as that. Alex he got a touchdown field, he has, but no one there to receive anything, so it is just going to be beat back to the other side of the field. Is that open? How is that open? Swana has left their back lines open as you like it, and Jokers will capitalise and take the first goal.
I'm glad we got to see that angle from Eclipse's point of view there, because you could see it the whole way down the field. Weet-Bix, he went for the corner boost. Simple as that. The worst part is he missed it twice as he came back around to rotate, realised the net was wide open. He just sails past the boost, has not enough to get across to it. He almost made the touch, almost got the save, but almost ain't enough. And hurtling towards the midfield point of this 4th and final game in this series, Jokers once more take a lead. They have not lost when they have taken the lead. They haven't even been, they've not even got an equalize against when they've taken the lead. That's just how strong a marshalling of this pitch they have had throughout this series. For Swana's sake, if they could change the script, well, that's entirely up to them. They have to write it for themselves, and they have to start going forward, because with 2 minutes left, we saw what they're incapable of doing in the first game, in the third game. they have to change something. They have to start pushing out of their own half. And they've struggled under the boost game, but they haven't necessarily been completely choked out. So I don't think that that's the excuse that they can make, as Alex is in such an awkward position to deal with this, but does manage to keep it to just one goal so far. Can they get back down the other end and start to claw this one back?
Let's see if they're able to. Here's an opportunity for an ungodly redirect, but it is not going to happen today. The plays, you know, they can be made, but not right now. And the only play Swana has to be making right now is to score a goal. But
no,
it's
you
looking
don't.
Ever so out of the question, because the reset opportunity was there from Jokers. They weren't able to capitalize and convert it into a goal. However, Swana are still scrambling on the defense. They need to get this cleared away.
It's just not enough. I mean, he said it perfectly. Scrambling, flailing, hoping for absolutely any sort of reprieve from this offensive onslaught from the Joker's side. I mean, it's only led to one goal so far, but with a minute left, we know this story. We've seen it all before, and we're expecting the same outcome. They could get one, maybe two more goals at the end of this, but if Swana can somehow pull out all the stops, get an equalizer, it could be right here as Weetabix with a lackluster shot, but it's right down the middle, and it's right past both defenders. I called it as it happened. A 0-goal game, an equal affair. Dogman jumps ahead of the ball, actually. I think he was expecting it further into the net. High Frequency had the back post covered, but right down the middle, sometimes right down the slot, is exactly where you want it. And this is exactly what we wanted, Hodge. An equal game going into the Embers. I am hoping for an overtime, crossing everything I can. But Jokers, we know what they're capable of.
Yeah, we talked about Swana scrambling around on defense, but right there they turned Jokers into scrambled eggs. They put them in the pan and, cooked them up a little bit there. But who's going to be able to get this second one, which you would assume would be the second and final goal of this series, but anything can happen. Here's the attack coming through from Swana, but it's cleared away as they just give up possession to Jokers. You can't afford to be doing that, because when Jokers get this clear, it almost seems like they trap you in your half, and it takes so much effort, and we've seen it multiple times throughout this series for Swana to get something cleared. 4 seconds remaining before we head to overtime, and if there was a couple more seconds, then maybe that would be game 4 over and done with, but Swana will have to hold on for a little bit longer.
A glaring chance. The time was the enemy, as double commit leads to one being dead on the back wall. Eclipse gets a nice 50 off of that play, but it was wayward, and now it's Future with plenty of boost off the sidewall, can only herk it to the middle, hoping for someone to come and relieve him in this situation. Weetabix not going to be quick enough. Eclipse off the ceiling. Dogman going to get the shot away. Just about enough of Future's front bumper. Gets this away from the net and away from a 3-game win series here for Jokers. It could still go that way, but Swana, they've got one. They've managed to switch up Prophecy. They managed to change their fortunes by their own demand. Can they continue to do more? Beat the offensive powerhouse that is Eclipse. Get through themselves and get this series back. Get a 2-2 draw. It would be an incredible thing for them to get at this point in the season. Early on, they desperately don't want another loss. They don't want a 2 in that column. No one ever does, but they're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen next. Weetabix going to try and add the final chapter of this tale here for Swana and hope that it's a positive one, but this ball now going to drop down. Someone needs to be there, but someone needs to just be there a little bit quicker here for Swana, and I feel like that's a tale we've been repeating here a lot today in this prospect match that we've seen on our stream, and well, it's something, there's no easy way around it. It just has to be something that they fix going into the next couple of weeks of the season as these whiffs come through once again. But Weetabix, you can't afford to whiff that, and he did not do such thing. But now everyone on Swana forced into a difficult position. The incredible defense comes through, but it does not equate to anything unless you can get out of this deadlock and try and sway things the other way.
Incredibly clutch saves coming out from Swana, but as you said, it will mean absolute zilch if they cannot find a way to get this second. Now 2 minutes into this overtime, the second of the series. Future Life with a free touch to the sky. Not much control there, necessary, but not not able to control it well enough, as this one finds its way back through the corner. Weetabix with space, but no boost. Eclipse with nothing either, doesn't manage to get it past. Well defended from the front man there. Make sure there's no more threat to be dealt with by his second and third Dogman. Up the field, but nothing in the tank to deal with it. Alex can only cut it to the midfield. 50. Weetabix gets a little bit of ahead of the ball, which leaves a free touch for Dogman. Just back and forth. Tennis Rocket League right now. You see this one picked up once more by Eclipse. Half tank, gonna turn and get a shot away, gonna miss it. Might have been a fake enough to get one through. Off the post and in. High frequency. The opening scorer on Sovereign Heights managed to find his way back again. Finds the final goal of the series, and a 3-1 for Joker Dynasty. They continue their dominance at the top of the table, and Swana left wanting. What an unfortunate way for this one to end, Hodge, but you can't deny they deserved it on all the run of play.
Oh, absolutely. It was quite clear throughout this series and throughout all 4 of those games that Jokers were undoubtedly the better team in this series. They played, a stellar game, it has to be said, throughout. And although Unitox did pick up that one win and played it close towards the end of that game and number 4, those little individual mistakes come through and, well, it can all fall apart. It's a tragic way for them to lose that game number 4. But, these things can happen, and it's all about how you bounce back and prepare for the next game. But as we come back to this caster screen, I just want to say, I think that was a great series to open the day. We saw the highs and lows of both of those teams, and, it only sort of leads me to think, what have we got in store for the rest of the day?
Yeah, as much as Dynasty did well, brilliant play, of course. We see here the series MVP. Pretty much right on the wall. I don't think anyone would be able to disagree that Eclipse took that one. Well, Clerks is otherwise known. 5 saves, 4 goals, 3 demos there, 14 shots as well. You don't have to score them all. You just have to put enough pressure on your opponents to get the ones through that you necessarily need. And it was a great series to go, as you said. And I'm just disappointed personally for Swan. I'm sure they'll be disappointed themselves, of course. I felt that could have gone 2-2. They got the overtime. They deserved the opportunity, but you can clearly see here from the post-series stats, I look at the boost consumption. It was over 1,000 more boost consumption in that final game for Jokers. I mean, you could argue that it's not necessarily the best use of it, but they clearly had control of it. They had the most of it, the lion's share. So they used it well enough, and they managed to get it over the line. Another victory for them under the belt, and a fantastic way to end it. But that's not the end of the night, of course. That was just the first series. We have Bromeo back with us. How are you feeling about that one, Bromeo? I know it's not your franchise. You have no vested interest in this whatsoever, but it was a great series, a great opener.
I had plenty of vested interest in this one. As you may know, S. Falcon is one of the admins. He's one of the GMs of Dynasty, so it would be nice to see Jokers get knocked down a peg. But at the end of the day, the Jokers were killers of cereal. I've been sitting on that joke for a while, and don't hold your applause, don't mind me. But it took me a minute to recognize Wheatbix and Future Life and all of them. So thanks to the backroom staff for swiftly identifying the offenders. They will be dealt with after stream. No, they won't. But
sounded more ominous than it needed to be, but yeah.
But what a game to start with. That was a bit of whack-a-ball. Eclipse with many moments of brilliance there. We saw a little bit of a reset there, and I thought that was when things truly turned, is when he was showing off his talents in front of the crowd. So well played by both, but I do think Dynasty deserved that win.
Yeah, he has the confidence to go for that kind of thing, even if it doesn't always pay off, and it can be terrifying, especially for a prospect level player to see that happen. Sure, they've seen it plenty on the professional stage, they know what it is, but to even see someone attempt it, to defend against it, they're not used to that. So the fact that he even goes for that is very effective psychologically, if not tangibly on the field, and you just love to see it because you don't see very much mechanics in the prospect division. So I appreciate him for that, and of course he's a very, very good player, deserves to be in the position he's in, probably even higher, but it'll just have to be that for that series. Of course, Dynasty, they play again later on in Rival again, so we'll just have to see whether they can match up the same.
We will indeed, but on that note, it is time for our second game of this evening. This time, it is a rival game. It is DSQ Viola versus Order of Oaks Jawlers. Take it away.
I'll let you take this one, Hodge. Since I've been speaking, I feel like a lot more over this night so far.
You need a break. You need a break, and
I just need to gather my thoughts.
Yeah, we all do after that game, and I have to say we are ready to get this second series sort of underway and start talking about it, because like we say, we're moving over to the rival tier now. We're going to get to see what our rival teams have in store for us here, and see who's going to be able to start off really well. In our rival matches, we have 2 rival matches today, this one and the next. So, like we said, it is going to be Viola taking on Jawlers, and well, Viola versus Jawlers is a bit of a similar matchup that we had in our first match, I guess, in a sense. It is a really overdog team taking on a team who's not had so much success yet, but can definitely still have a bit of a bounce back.
They certainly could. Overdog. It's a weird term. You don't hear it very often. It's usually accompanied by its cousin, the underdog, which of course Jawlers aren't necessarily in this situation. They are a little higher in the table than the previous opponents, Tswana. And they've currently in 6th, have not won, have not lost. They are very equal. They are very moderate in terms of their Rocket League potential right now. They are 4-4, still -5 goal difference, so they are doing a little bit worse in that regard. But as you can see here, the Viola team, I fly aware, I hope so. Tubbsy, Ender, and Divine. Tubbsy, 30 goals, probably the standout here, of course. They've had a nigh perfect season they've been nigh perfect to begin the regular season. They 3-1'd Bravo Force, and then they got a 4-0 forfeit sweep versus Nightfall, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I read the ball chasing, I could be completely wrong. It said a 2-2 versus Nightfall, but they still played rather well in that regard. So they're 7-1 currently, a little bit not on merit, but a little bit they are. So Tubbsy appearing to be the standout performer, ran up a 476 point per game average in their opening series. I'm expecting to see more of that continued, but on the other side, slightly talked about him already, Jawlers. 2 draws shows potential, but of course, getting over that line, getting that first victory is so crucial. Going to be very difficult on stream against the top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we say, 2 draws, no wins, no losses. So it's sort of the definition of like mediocre in the rivalry.
Straddling the line, yeah.
That sounds like a horrible way to phrase it, but it is just
it's
fact.
Accurate.
It's accurate, and well, it's mediocre taking on what so far has been pretty much perfection. I mean, Viola, they've out of their 2 matches, they've won 7 matches and they've won 7 and lost 1, if I can get my words out here, which means they've had a 3-1 series and a 4-0. So, it's very much them going in as the favourites here, but Jawlers are certainly going to be looking to cause an upset here, and we're going to get to see if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, tiny little asterisk next to that 4-0, as I said, it was a forfeit sweep against Nightfall. I think Nightfall might have played an illegal FA or something like that, but it's not necessarily against them because they won their first series pretty emphatically against Bravo Force in the opening week. As I mentioned about Tubbsy, that incredible almost 500 point per game average, but in the rival tier, very, very strong. And they took 41 shots against Bravo Force throughout the whole series. So if that's anything to go by, we should expect an absolute barn burner here. A shooting gallery for Viola, but of course Jawlers wanting to prove that they're not just draw merchants throughout this season and start to get off the blocks a little bit faster, a little bit better, because they are in a decent position here to jump up into the top 3 should they get at least 2 games out of this series. Viola, of course, at the very top. This result doesn't affect them in terms of how Jawlers would be playing against them, unless Jawlers get a sweep, and then they'll be right up to 7th anyway, and that would make for some very interesting moments in the rival Ignis conference. But I'm just looking forward to an entertaining match, as we saw from that first one in Prospect. It on the paper, everything, it just looked like Joker's going to take it all. It one ended up very, very close, and I'm hoping for the same thing here with DSQ. And the I forgot what they're called, the OO community. I think it was OOO. I was very confused about that name, but we'll just call them Jawlers from now on.
Yeah, and well, let's see if they're going to be able to have a stellar game here. But game number 1, we've kicked it off officially, so we haven't seen any sort of kick-off goals just yet like the last series, but that's sort of a good thing a lot of the time. Both teams just get to sort of figure out how each other's play, but Just, yeah, we might have not gotten a kickoff goal, but, 30 seconds isn't too much longer to wait, and that's the first one from Jawlers, and it's a lovely, lovely shot. Everyone there from Jawlers recognised the opportunity. 2 players jumped at it, and usually I would flame them for a double commit, but it worked out in the end for them, so I won't, and, successful play there from Jawlers, 1-0.
Well, as K-Dot famously said, former world champion of Rocket League, if you double commit, that just means you were both in the right place. That's the optimistic way of looking at it. But of course, optimism is something that is going to be rapidly fading away from Viola's minds right now, as they concede a second in just as quick fashion as they did the first. An instantaneous brace from Sebastian, I believe that is, off the back wall, perfectly positioned to find that second goal. And I will apologize. The Order of Oaks is the name of that franchise. That's actually pretty good. It just looks ridiculous when it's in short form, when it's in that 3-letter thing. But we'll move past that because they've earned my respect. Jawlers take it 2-0, just 1 minute into this opening game, and an unexpected one at this point. Of course, Viola, I don't believe, have been on stream before. They could just have first game stream jitters. We will have to see as the series develops. They're clearly capable of playing an incredible game of Rocket League. They're just yet to utilize that so far.
Well, here we are, and here is Divine picking up that ball and taking it cross court to the other side of the field, but Viola haven't been able to find their opening just yet. Let's see how long it's going to take them to do so, as Tubu is going to be able to just find the angle, but is it on target? Not quite. It's just off of that crossbar, and still Viola have been locked out of this Jawlers back of the net and still aren't able to find it. Let's see if that's going to change here, as they do have another opportunity to start pressuring downfield. This shot going to go over towards that backboard, but it is going to be quickly silenced here by Jawlers, who've been playing incredibly so far and are going to continue that as they have an opportunity. Here's the shot, no goal though, as it's taken away by Viola, who now look to try and find a counter-attack, but the demos come through from Jawlers to sort of mitigate the potential damage.
They continue to struggle on the front foot. Viola being pushed out of every opportunity they've looked for. Mr. Green doesn't have quite enough boost to get up to this. Divine was looking to the heavens to try and get one through, at least halve this deficit. Ender couldn't do so either. Tubbsy pushes all the way through the corner, loses a little bit of balance, and can't utilize that full tank to its fullest. Yeah, that kind of works. Sebastian back down the field. Mr. Green to pick up the slack as well, pushes forward. Actually opts to leave. That might have been better the option, but it just drives in front of his teammate's shot for whatever wild reason. That might have just been a miscommunication. Divine all the way back down the other end of the field, flicks it to the backboard. Ender can't get it on target either. Not enough boost to reorient himself. Hannibal just back in time to keep that one away and keep this 2-goal lead intact. As the 2-minute mark hits, are they looking for the third? Yes, they are. Mr. Green gets an awesome ground pinch, but not quite enough to find its way past Tubbsy. This incredible offensive catalyst for this Viola team. Not quite firing on any cylinders so far.
Not quite. Let's see if that's going to change. One of the players was coming down from above there, but that's a difficult angle to find even for anyone, and they're not going to be able to do it. So Viola, here comes another player down from above. It is Tubu, who's I'm going to go
Tubbsy.
with Tubu.
His name's Tubbsy.
Tubbsy.
Yes.
TBC. We'll go with Tubbsy then, shall we? And
I don't know why he's called himself that, but I refuse to say it.
When I first started casting, I was just known in RSC for getting every single person's name wrong. So I do apologise, SSA. But here we are. And here is Jawlers, who are going to continue to try and push this pressure that they've generated, but possession is going to go over to Viola, who haven't found anything just yet, but there's still a minute for them to try and open up the score sheet. Here we go though. Here's another shot from Jawlers, blocked out, and Jawlers, they've really impressed me this game. It's not what a lot of people, including myself, expected them to come out with after a bit of a different performance so far, but they have really been displaying a good level of play. But here is the fight back from Viola. 44 seconds remaining, and they are going to get the first. And, well, 44 seconds, by my calculations, Vector, is definitely enough time for them to get another one.
Well, by my calculations as well, they appear to be correct, Hodge, and a stunning start from Jawlers, somewhat sullied by a lackluster front post defense there. Viola let back into the game. The door has been swung wide open. Whether or not they're willing to take a step through, we'll have to see. Jola's going to be the body blockers, bounces on the line. It's going to be stopped as well. The smoke screen almost obscured my view for a moment there. Could have been an opportunity for Jolas. Another one finds its way through. Mr. Green only off the left-hand post. No follow-up. No one wanting to take the risk. They don't want this equalizer to come through. They're just going to sit back, hold what they've got, and hope for the best. 10 seconds left in the wrong side of the field for Viola as they manage to at least get this to the back ball. But Sebastian maybe looking for his third man, doesn't want to risk it. This is going to be an opportunity to pass it through. Divine to Tubbsy, going to be followed up by Ender, but reads the play like he was a blind man. And this one ends at Order of Oaks at the very end of the game. It ends up 2-1. Crazy, crazy way for this one to start. Two quick succession goals, both by Sebastian. Very well played from Order of Oaks, probably unexpected from the majority watching at home. And Viola rocked here early doors on stream. Yeah, that has to be a factor. It has to be part of it. I mean, they have almost over 1,000 more boost, almost 2,000 more boost even used than. I think I'm doing the maths wrong there. They've got a lot more boost usage than Order of Oaks in this situation, okay, but it led to nothing. It was to no avail, and they got a goal very late on, but it was sort of just a mistake, a moment of misjudgment, it seemed like, from Order of Oaks' defense there, and the Jolas managed to hang on, got that 2-goal lead as they needed it, and Viola lacking a little bit of pace, a little bit of precision, especially for my expectation of their play.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, they started to pick things up towards the end, and they did become a real threat towards the end of that game. But for the majority of that game, it really was just a shutout, it felt like, from Jolas. They really just weren't letting anything go. They weren't, they weren't messing around. And, they've really started out strong and caught everyone by surprise. That's what you like to see. But what I'm now looking at in game number 2 is, yes, Viola, you've had a shock, but can you make the correct adjustments needed? Or is this just going to be a kickoff goal over to the side of Jolas, who make it 1-0 in the first 2 seconds?
2 kickoff goals tonight within 2 seconds. What is happening anymore? What's going on? This clearly is scripted. That's the only outcome that I'll accept at this point. And it's, I was about to say it's 3 goals unanswered for Jolas throughout the series, but it's not, of course. Viola did answer with one of their own towards the end of game 1, but it is 2 opening goals, and the lead has not fallen out of Jolas' favour throughout this whole series here. In Deadeye Canyon, they're looking to control the game once more. They're doing so very early on, and just putting the expectation and the onus completely on Viola, instantaneously, essentially, in a Rocket League game where they're already on the back foot. It's as if they've just got a handicap at the very beginning, and you have to play through it. This is your option. This is all you've got, as Tubbsy just about managed to marshal that off of his goal line to prevent that quick 2-goal lead once more, and managed to push it all the way down the field with an empty tank as well. Great play from him. Follow up, maybe. Divine comes flying in. Didn't quite have the lady look, favouring him there to get that equaliser, which they so desperately have been hunting for over a game now. So I'm just hoping that they can start to find some more of what they did earlier in the season. I love the psychology of it, of what it's doing to them being on stream, and whether or not that's having such a devastating effect to their ability to play. And of course, I'm just going to stop speaking, Hodge, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. Tubbsy equalises with 4 minutes left to go.
You know what? I thought Bromeo might have been scripting the kickoff goal for Order of Oaks, but earlier on. But I don't think he might have scripted that one right there. Viola answer back. It didn't take them an awful long time, but now we already see the pressure coming immediately from Jolas. They're not very happy about that early goal and that answer back of the goal, and they're looking to make it 2 and get things up as Mr. Green
this one hurt.
Put one into the back of the net. And it's not an easy save to make, it has to be said, but it's one of those saves where if you find the wrong end of your car on that touch, it can go very, very horribly wrong. And unfortunately for Viola, it did go very, very horribly wrong.
Yeah, he had to make a decision. It was on target. It was going in if he didn't intervene. Problem is, he just assumed someone was going to come flying in and dunk him into the stratosphere, or to next week, or whatever you want to say. He rushed the play, unfortunately, for Ender there, and it does lead to Joel's continued control of this game and of the entire series. A second goal going forward. Mr. Green's first of the series. Divine all the way down the field, gets a flick into midfield as well. Ender makes up for his lackluster performance on defense, goes back down the other end to smash it into a wide, gaping net. Hannibal was hunting back there to try and get any sort of disruption on this play, but it will not be enough. A quick response here from Viola, exactly what they're looking for, of course. And now they have to push on and do the one thing they haven't done in this series is get a lead. And they're going to be looking to, I assume, Tubbsy, highest goal scorer, 30 goals before this series started, has been the catalyst for this team through and through in every aspect, especially on the offensive end. And they will be looking to him to make the difference.
Yep, absolutely. As Joel's defense trying to get this cleared away, and well, Viola started to pick up the pressure a little bit, but will it result in anything? Ender on the wing, ready to try and make a play for this, but no boost, so out of the play for a little bit, is able to get a touch back to his teammates, and actually, I think for the situation and how much boost he had, that was the best he could really do. But Tubbsy is trying to make the outplay of the century. He doesn't put it in, but his teammate does. That is absolutely incredible, and that is exactly what you expect from Viola.
Exceptional play from Tubbsy here. Sensational control of the ball. Knows he has the space and utilizes it brilliantly. So unfortunate for him that he didn't manage to get the plaudits, the laurels for the goal for that. But of course, it is immortalized. It is on stream. We know he was everything about that. Of course, the Namibian angel that is Divine came flying in to clean things up, to secure it for his teammate. But all the plaudits, all the praise should go to Tubbsy there for that incredible play. And finally, the lead that they were looking for now. All that they're trying to do is trying to hold on to it. Of course, they aren't. They're trying to extend it, add to it, and they clearly do here. Great play from Ender to read this touch into the midfield. Tubbsy was just in the way, wanted to get out of it, making sure that his teammate gets some praise for a goal as well, not wanting to show his team up, which is a great sign to see that he's a team player. Is not all about the glory, and they almost get an opportunity to find a 3-goal lead off of that kickoff. Almost get another chance at the bit there as well. But Joelers, they must be rocked after those 2 quick goals. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, you asked the question, can Viola find a lead after something we haven't seen them do just yet, but well, they absolutely can. I mean, just a couple of moments ago, we saw Tubbsy, turn Deadeye Canyon into an ice rink, it sort of seemed, and the defense were slipping around trying to stabilize. But, you know, right now it's sort of been very apparent as to who the dominant force is, and that one will not be able to be saved. Tubbsy puts in a 5th, and, you know, it sort of did seem like we were waiting for the Viola DSQ superstar to come online.
This is much more like it from the diligent DSQ boys, finding 5 goals. This is what we want, what we expected to see from them. Just turning on in every single aspect. Tubbsy, of course, being the progenitor of that, pushing for... Actually, did he get the first goal? I can't remember. I think it might have been Ender that got the first. But irregardless, it is exactly what they were looking for. In the second game of this series, they'll be looking to push forward after this one because it's pretty much done and dusted. I don't see Joel as finding 3 goals in a minute. They've struggled to find one in the last 3, so... Although, you never know, Tubbsy just about back in time. Not the healthiest boost situation for Viola right now, but I imagine there's just not enough time on the clock for Joelers to find the control that they had throughout the first game and really turn this one on its head. It certainly give us a game to remember, Hodge, but I genuinely just don't see it happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Why do I speak?
It does seem that
Why?
when Vector opens his mouth, well, Joel, let's say, shut up, Vector. It's the bluntest way I can put it.
I'm not doing this for you, Bromeo.
Yeah. Bromeo's sat in his chair right now, waiting to hop on after this series, and he's literally just sat there writing the script as it's all happening. But yeah, are we going to see this surprise continue? Is there another twist of this tale left in game number 2, or is this going to be closed out here and now? We'll find the answer in the next 10 seconds as Mr. Green is shoved out of the way. Vector hopes and prays for his caster curse reputation, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be seen as a charlatan.
The ground,
you know?
That's my job, don't worry. But we will have a DSQ game number 2 victory.
I couldn't risk my reputation being tarnished. So thank you, DSQ, for holding on to that 3-goal. Well, was it? I think it was 3-goal lead. Yeah, 5-2 just before Brawlers got that garbage time goal, shall we say? No offense, Bromeo. It's 900 points for Tubbsy there. That's more like it, mate. Got 476 average in the first series of the season and looking to continue the same way about it. He'll want to be on the MVP discussion by the end of the season, I am certain, and he's well on his way. 6 saves as well. I mean, I was talking about his incredible shooting stats before the series started, after the first game especially, the way that we were expecting him to play, but 6 saves, are you kidding me? I mean, the amount of shots that Jawless had, they would think it was basically a brick wall sat in the net. Absolutely ridiculous performance, and well earned, well deserved. Of course, the job's not done. They have only just clawed back 1 game. They still are on the cusp of the potential of not being able to win this series. If Jawless take the next, all they could play for is a draw. And that's, to me, the beauty of the 4-game series system is you desperately have to earn it. You have to start strong, and you have to continue that way. If you let your opponent in, even just a little bit, if you little crack in the door, they could come bursting through it. So hopefully for their sake they won't, but I'm looking to see some sort of response from Jawless here. That was a wild scoreline by the end, 8 goals in total. And I'm thinking, if they start to get more defensive, is that better? Is that worse? I'll leave that question to you, Josh.
Well, we'll find the answer in game number 3 and game number 4 probably, but I'll not answer it. I'll let the players answer it for themselves. But I don't want to curse anyone today. But you know, like you say, this format's so important when you talk about individual games. You can't let your opponent in. Every single game matters, and it especially comes, you know, down when it comes down to those tiebreakers towards week 8 and 9. It's especially important when you talk about these individual games, you know, when it comes to those 5th and 6th place tiebreakers, who makes playoffs, who's locked out of playoffs, and, well, right now, we've got to lock in on this match and see who is going to be the better team on the day. Right now, Jawless, they want to make a claim for it, and if they can find a double tap here, or maybe just a shot into the back of this net, then well, that'll be good for them. But right now we do see the whiffs coming through. No one quite able to take charge of game number 3 just yet, as the chances have gone a little bit missing from both of these sides so far. But as you can see, Tubbsy back, picking up that 100 boost and on the backboard, ready to try and drop this down to a teammate. Although Jawlers have found this onto the backboard of their own, and, well, Viola are going to have to sort of scrap around to try and get this cleared.
Compound upon that, talking about the format, 4-game series, they only play 1 series a week. The nature of the league here, the amount of teams that they have, and that just adds to the stakes, to the drama of it all. Every single game is so crucial for your opportunities in the postseason, and these players know it well. They're fighting for every inch and taking every mile that is given by their opponents, but it's been neutral affair so far here on Sovereign Heights, almost 2 minutes into this 3rd game. I'm surprised to see, looked up at the clock and it was already 2 minutes gone. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I'm continuing that disbelief in the fact that we haven't seen a goal yet by either side, considering that there were 8 in the last game. It's very much a shade dimmer, I suppose. If you like to see goals, if you like a lot of offense, you might see a little bit here as Tubbsy goes to the skies and gets denied off the line by Sebastian. Incredible stop from the double tap attempt. That's exactly the kind of defense you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what was better there, the shot or the save, but regardless, it's absolutely incredible for both teams, and that just shows, you know, Vector, the caliber of teams that we have in this match right now, and how close this match actually is, you know, coming down to. It's coming down to these sort of really, really small margins, and, well, it's about who's going to capitalize on every single one and every single opportunity they get. But this ball is going to be dropped down, and, well, it is going to be Jawlers who just continue to try and put the pressure on, but nothing from either team has resulted in any goals just yet. So now we look to Mr. Green, who takes things up this side wall and tries to just play this out from the corner. It is just going to be brought back into midfield, though, as the challenges do come through. And, you know, I have to say, we have just seen this be a bit of a back and forth game, where as in game 1 and in game 2, it sort of did feel like the play was, you know, run by a specific team for the majority of it. This game number 3 has been a little bit more of an equal stale out and, you know, defensive masterclass, I guess you can say.
Both sides have gotten a good look at each other. Oh, no, Divine! That had to be going towards the net. Somehow takes that off target. Tubbsy did all the hard work, looking for another double tap, this time off target, off the backboard, was relying on his second man to come and clean that up, but to no avail. It's still an equal game. A double tap from the other side from Hannibal was attempted. Not quite enough, but Sebastian, the stalwart savior on the other side of the field, ends up being an incredible finish here. Follows up his teammates' plays, exactly what we're expecting Divine to do on the other half of the field, but quick counter-attack, late game goal here for Jawlers. Exactly what they were looking for, to put the pressure onto Viola at the very end of the proceedings here. Now back off kickoff, Mr. Green, plenty of time to take this to the sky. Gets the reset as well. Tubbsy somehow read that last week. Gets the touch away. Now trying to put it back down the other side of the field. Will be denied, not even able to get over the halfway line as the final minute dawns. Tentative moments for both sides, but the favour is in Jawler's side as that was off the post. Mr. Green wasn't expecting it, neither was Tubbsy. Everybody's confused, calamity ensues, and it's just going to continue to be Jawler's favour, but back down the other end of field, a 3v1. Can they get it through? No! Hannibal stops it at the death. Absolutely incredible stalwart defence here from Jawlers, keeps them in the running. 30 seconds more to go, Hodge, and Jawlers could be looking at a victory in Game 3.
Well, it has to be said, as much as Jawlers could be looking at a victory in the next 30 seconds, this absolutely should have been a tight game, but some little mistakes from some players, and unfortunately it is a Jawlers lead, but this could be turned around very, very quickly. A last opportunity, a last attack here from Viola, but will it result in anything? I love these challenges. You've got to send in the players, send in these challenges.
Great rotation.
A last effort from Tubbsy to try and get something, but this will crumble to the ground for Viola, and their clean record of wins so far will be wiped. This either will be a tie or a loss. It's just about now in game number 4 playing for that tied game, and well, they've got to show that they can make it happen.
Not quite the electrifying end I was hoping for. At the very last there I was like, yes, come on, one more Viola attack just to make it interesting. But oh my goodness, Jawlers, what, that defense was incredible. I mean, they had fewer saves. Tubbsy still leading the save stat with 3, having to take up much of the brunt of the defensive effort here for DSQ. Is the rest of his team certainly struggling, as you can see by the stats layout here. But oh my goodness, absolutely incredible from Jawlers, the way that they managed to stop them. And sometimes flashy last-minute saves is, to a lot of people, can be seen as negative defense because it means you're not being proactive. You're having to rely on clutch moments and just about getting there. But it certainly makes for entertaining Rocket League. It's something that I love to see happen. But and it certainly worked for them in that regard, and it led to such a crazy finish there. But absolutely incredible play from them. They, as you mentioned it, they controlled the possession. They were cutting in time and time again, always making sure that they had someone available and ready to stop the play developing on Viola's side. And it was just such an incredible performance from them. You said it yourself. It's done. Viola, they are not going to have a perfect season for one. I mean, it's still early season, but a draw or a loss, something that they're going to be staring at and just being angry with themselves, I hope, more than anything else, and book their ideas up. This should be something that drives you. This should be something that makes you want to play better. This is not something that should put you down. Hopefully, they're that kind of team, and we end up with a bombastic end to this series. But I'm banking on Jawlers. They looked incredible in that last game. If they can just start to consolidate a bit more in the midfield, start to control the offense a bit better, they could be a serious contender in this conference.
Yeah. Absolutely, and we do have confirmation coming through from production that we are just waiting for one of the players to get sorted on the technical side of things. We are going to have a quick technical timeout, and we will get back.
More time to talk about that game
as soon as possible. But
yes,
that just gives us more time to talk about not just the past game. We've been treated to the past 3 of these games that we've had, so we can sort of summarize everything that's happened and, you know, really sort of set the scene for this next game. And you know, Vector, we do have an entire season coming up ahead of this. Like you say, 1 match a week, and right now the massive storyline is that Viola will be either tying or, you know, they won't be winning their 3rd game here. They will be losing or tying. But Order of Oaks, it's really a story that, like we say, coming off of 2 draws, it's not necessarily something that a lot of people expected, but against the number 1 team so far, it's a very, very welcome sort of performance, I think.
Well, that's the beauty of it. As I said before the series even began, 2 draws, it shows potential. There's opportunity there. They're not losing, they're not winning. Clearly something is just a little slightly out of alignment. There's just one little thing that they need to adjust, and then they can start to push forward. And of course, another draw could be happening tonight as well, but to get it against the top of the conference, asterisk again, because they got the forfeit win. They won, of course, their first series 3-1, but still they're top of the table, and should they end up losing this one, that's blood in the water. The Sharks start circling. Prolific are only 1 game behind them. They're still yet to play their series this week. Bravo Force are still yet to play. They're 2 games behind. And once again, behind are Viola. Another kickoff goal, essentially, for Jolas here. 5 seconds in, Hannibal gets his teeth in the bit and absolutely manages to get a lead goal here in the 4th and final. And I'm not sure who that technical timeout was for, but it seems to be favoring Jolas so far. I would have thought maybe it slowed them down, maybe took the momentum away from them. Clearly, nothing is slowing them down here.
Romeo sat there writing a script, and well, I was going to say for a minute that his finger was stuck on the W key, but right now, you know, Viola, they've taken a couple of shots. They're making things look a little bit dangerous, and double taps threatened once again. So, you know, it is just Viola saying that, yes, Jolas, you can have this first goal, but it's absolutely not a guaranteed win. We are going to fight till the bitter end. We are going to fight for our drawn and, you know, tied game here. And, you know, as much as I feel like Romeo, we've talked about him writing this script, obviously, you know, it's a complete joke, but you know, I feel like this script is, you know, but Romeo, he's written this entire script. I feel like it could end up leading to Drawlers just drawing every single game. They go into playoffs and then they smack everyone. That's my interpretation.
That's the feeling I've kind of had throughout my season in the RSC EU. So far, my team, with the draw merchants, we're going to be drawing to playoffs as Viola can't even draw a single goal from this offensive push. They get denied once again. It's something that, for a lot of people, for a lot of teams, and oh my god, I can't even talk about anything else but Jola's offense because it's just that good. This was exceptional with the reset from Mr. Green. I actually kind of think he faked it out. The first man pushes on it to try and get the touch. The second man is just a little bit behind, lags behind the play, isn't able to get across. Mr. Green flicks it off the top of his hood, gets it into the crossbar, down. 2-goal lead once again for Jolas. It's just an incredible performance. Your first time on stream against the top of the table. No, I don't think anyone was expecting much from them. They should be expecting everything from this at this point. They've, I think, sort of raised the bar somewhat for these mid-table teams to really start making a push for the upper echelons of this conference, because it's brilliant to see that a team I think a lot of people might have written off early are doing so well in this regard. They're working well together. They have the clutch defense. They've got the offensive news as well. And I'm liking what they've been doing together as a team. The team play is just wonderful to see from them. And I just, what have you got, Viola? What is your response?
Yeah, well, we'll find out. But, you know, like you said, we've got to talk about this Jola's offense. And at this point, they've earned our respect. I dare to use a League of Legends World reference here, but make them believe. And, well, they've absolutely made us believe here. And, well, not just that, they've made us want to talk about, you know, this incredible offense that they've shown us. Like you say, we weren't expecting anything, but we have gotten results that you cannot expect. You cannot hope for, but, you know, it's happening right now on our very screens. Jolas 3-0 in game number 4. They are taking down the number 1 team in Rival right now. They are battering them in game number 4. And, well, I used this in the last series, but, you know, they are turning them into the junk on Junkyard right now, on Wasteland. And, well, hopefully at the end for Viola, they maybe have some way back into this. But no, they will be put in the bin and the lid will be slammed shut here as Jolas are able to get a 4th.
All right, we've talked about this, Bromeo. You've got to make it at least look convincing, you know? Make it close, exactly. Make it interesting. We had this throughout the entire first 3 games of this series. Now, at the very end, you're going to turn it on? No. Jolas, I mean, as much as we kid about the script, entirely, you know, praise to them. They've earned this through and through. they've pushed forward and taken Viola's number. I mean, in game 3, it looked as though they'd both read each other. They'd started to match up mutually, understood each other's play styles, and respected one another in a lot of the facets of the game. Jola's just ripped it up completely. It was like, nah, we're just kidding, mate. We made the third game close for views, for the interest, and now they've just come and absolutely dismantled, ripped to shreds this DSQ defense. 5 goals. This is exactly what Viola got in game 2. They've repaid it in kind. Viola completely shut out so far in this 4th and final game. And what a statement to make. And sat in the middle of the table. If they'd have swept this series, they would have been equal in 7 games. But of course, they're only going to be able to get 3 from it, which puts them squarely high up into to the rafters in I believe it's in 3rd place so far, because Bravo Force currently at 5 game wins have not played their series this week, and another incredible stop from that Jola's defense. This one goes to Hannibal. A minute left. I just don't know what more to say than well done, Jola's, well done, Order of Oaks, because oh my goodness, Viola, they must be absolutely shell-shocked right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, while we're in the South Africa region, the Sub-Saharan Africa region right now, I would say that Jola's are on the way to South America and ready for Brazil. But the thing is, for Brazil, Viola actually have to score, so maybe we're going to see them do it here, but
not quite divine, unlucky.
But I was just ready for the curse, it has to be said. But yeah, Jola's, they've really showed up and showed out. And 45 seconds remaining. Can they make it 7? It doesn't really matter at this point, does it? It's just a victory lap here around Wasteland. But I mean, this really has been unexpected territory for Jola's here and for Order of Oaks as a franchise.
For everyone involved.
For everyone involved, like you say. But when we go back to this caster and host screen, I do expect Romeo to be just grinning from ear to ear.
We can't bring him back. We can't. It'd be too much.
Yeah,
he'd just sit there smiling with a grin on his face and not say anything. Just raise his eyebrow every now and then.
How do you feel about hosting the rest of the stream?
I feel I'm gonna have to do it just to keep him from gloating so frivolously. I can't believe it. But yeah, it's just wow. What a way to end this series. Such. In a lot of ways deflating because of the way the rest of it went. I was expecting a similar situation to the Prospect series that we had before. It was going to be exciting down to the wire, down to the very last minute, and it just wasn't. Order of Oaks, they just turned up completely. They're playing like a completely different team. Every single player, as you can see, scoring 2, got the braces, 3 assists. They all got 3 shots. And I think Sebastian, again, one more save than his compatriots, unfortunately breaking the cycle there, combo breaker, but they'll not be worried about it one little bit. They have their first victory of the season. Breaking that draw curse early on is very important, believe me, I know. And they managed to do it at the cost of DSQ's first ever loss in this season as well. What a way to show up, as you said, and show out on stream. And it was just a wonderful way to watch sort of the beginning of something potentially great from this Order of Oaks side. And yeah, I would just love to see later on this season what they're capable of doing. But we do, of course, have to mention Series MVP. We saw it so many times. The first time that I got hype in this series was Sebastian getting that incredible save off the goal line from Tubbsy's double tap attempt. 5 goals as well, was doing everything on every single part of the field. And I'd have to completely agree with that estimation based on the stats, of course, but just in the intangibles as well, did so many things for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Sebastian was a key player that led to, the Jola's victory that we just saw right there. And there you go on the screen, post-series stats. And it really is just Jola's gapping DSQ in pretty much every single statistic.
Double the goals, it's crazy.
A couple of, ball possession and field domination stats. But, right there, like we talked about it, I mean, goals double is absolutely mental, especially we look towards Viola. We had some players there, like we highlighted, with, astounding numbers of goals. And it just shows that when those players don't show up on the day, it all falls apart a little bit. And, well, Viola were left looking a little bit starstruck. So series does go over to Jawlers, but you know, I believe we do have a host rejoining us here.
No, we don't. I don't. Look at him.
We don't want this.
Look
guy.
at him. He's trying to hold it in. He's trying to be, modest and professional, but he's not. Inside, he's shouting and screaming. I'll let him speak. Let him say his piece.
I don't have much piece to say because all the pieces were left on the field. Well played by Jawlers. You did. You set it up just like 6 of those goals in the final game. It was fantastic.
Every single time. Every time we come back to the desk, I have cringe in my mind whenever Bromeo makes one of these like dad jokes.
when you get to my level of beard, you're allowed to start, with your allowances with jokes. But jokes aside, that was a really, really good performance by both teams. I was especially proud of Hannibal, who was actually promoted from prospect to play in this rival game, in the rival tier this season, and I see quite a few Hannibal supporters in chat, obviously spurring him on. They call it the Hanny buff. So I'm immensely chuffed, and it was a great result. So well played to the Order of Oaks. But I think that's where our journey ends, Mr. Vector, Mr. Hodge. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Pleasure.
Thanks for having us. See you later.
See you later.
And that, of course, means we start moving forward to the second half of this evening. There is still plenty of Rocket League to see, and mainly 2 more games. One of them will be Prolific versus Jax, and the other will be Omega Force versus Accelerate. So predictions are already open there. Forward Hilux, you are more than welcome to lose more points. Just let me know which team you bet for, and I will place against. But just another quick thank you to our sponsors, of course, Nixa, for sponsoring our prize pool for the season. 18,000 Rand split across the 4 tiers. It is our biggest prize pool yet, and Nixa is to thank. And obviously a big shout out goes to Genesis Extreme, who are our broadcast sponsors, who make this stream tick, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So obviously a massive thanks to them as well. But obviously, moving on now, we're going to have a look at the schedule for the rest of the evening. First up, we had Jokers versus Tswana, and Jokers took that one 3-1. Viola versus Jawlers. Jawlers came out possibly the underdogs here because Viola have been running rampant this season so far. So it is fantastic to see. Good result there by Jawlers. But coming up, Prolific versus Dynasty Jax, Dynasty's second team in for the evening. And obviously in Prospect, Omega Force for Critical Force against Redirects Accelerate. But joining me here for this evening is not the Bromeo, it is the Greybeard, and it's pretty weird to see you sitting there to the right of me, and obviously Altruism. Welcome.
Things are all mixed up this weekend. Greybeard's over there on that side, and I mean, but what a fantastic weekend for Rocket League. We just got to see 2 amazing games now, and Greybeard is in the thick of it all right now.
Yeah, it's been. I am tired. I am very tired, but very pumped to be here. And hey, what a great day it's been. It's been a great day for the Jokers and the Jawlers, and quite possibly the Jacks coming up. So yeah, all worth it at the end of the day.
Well, I think it must be worth noting again, Greybeard wasn't here at the beginning of the stream because he was at Comic-Con broadcasting a bunch of South Africa's finest at the high school esports LAN, as well as just the VS LAN in general. Are they running conjunction side by side? How's it work?
Yeah, so we got the VS Champs, which is like the main boys, then the high school. The high school had their semi-finals and third, fourth playoffs. The grand final for the high school is tomorrow, and then the upper and lower brackets continue in the Champs. So 7 series today, 7 tomorrow, 4 including the grand final on Saturday. So wall-to-wall Rocket League, and there was a great showing by the community. We had a good crowd out there today. I was very impressed. Day one of Comic-Con, you expect it to be it feels like, well, at least, and Ultras will remember from 2 years ago, it felt a little bit like a graveyard shift that first morning, but really well attended, and the support was really good, and I was very pleased with the day. So all in all, a great experience. And if you are in Joburg, make sure you get down there tomorrow or on Saturday. It's a hell of a vibe.
I was lucky enough to be there last year, same time, and honestly, it was fantastic. It is always such a highlight getting to meet the community in person, and even if you're not going for VS, go and meet some of your community members. I know a lot of RSC players were playing, and speaking of Olympic, Jerome, plenty players, and I don't want to name too many because I'm gonna miss somebody, and I'm gonna get furious DMs later. But let's move it on quickly on to our next series. We have got another rival game. It is Bros Prolific versus Jax for Dynasty. And Greybeard, I know you're not going to be biased on this one, but I'm going to hand it off to you.
Yeah, well, this is my team, and Ultrazim, you'll know last week you got to cast me playing with my team, now I get to cast them. So just to continue the theme of we're living in the upside down now.
It does pose a very interesting question. First and foremost, little disappointed in you. Here you are touting that you're going to be the biggest demo man.
I know.
We saw nothing of that. So I am completely stumped when it comes to what exactly this team is going to do. And what are they going to do without you? How do you feel about having to bring a sub in just in terms of rankings, in terms of, traditional MMR? There is a big difference between you and I believe it's Stacey Jax who's coming in to replace you.
Yeah, but I'm going through probably the roughest period of Rocket League I've had in 3 years. I'm just so I suspect they're actually going to do really, really well tonight. So we'll see. And there we go, Greybeard, number 2 on the list there, but only 6 goals. Oh, that is so disappointing. But I got big faith in Nanachi, the stuttering Nachi, and Stacey Jax. I think they're going to do the work.
I'm glad to hear it. I mean, still a very stalwart team. Complex as your number 1 seed is an amazing pickup for you guys. He's such a stalwart, and obviously you know a little bit more behind the scenes about how he leads. But on the other side, a pretty strong opposition that you guys are going up against. Bro as an organization has always been like one of these stalwarts, one of the first and longest standing and most diverse rosters as an organization. They really breed a good, comfy, warm feeling in your soul if you get to know these guys. But I mean, you're looking at Color Cold there, Mr. Crane, Navid, and even Fancy Lizard on the back line, and all pretty proficient. I mean, when you've got your lowest ranked player scoring the highest number of goals nearly, I mean, 15 versus 20, sure, but second on goals is still in a pretty deep roster to go up against.
Yeah. To me, they're a terrifying team, Ultrazim. Color Cold had a smashing last season in RSC, and continuing that here. I mean, 20 goals. I mean, our top scorer, Complex, on 12. That's 3rd place on this Bro Community League roster. So, this is proper competition. We are undefeated. So in 2 weeks, it's been 2 draws. But this one does make me nervous. And in fact, if we get out of this one with a draw, I'm probably going to be very happy. If we can do as well as our prospect brothers at a 3-1, I will be super delighted.
I mean, that would be tough. You're going up against a team with an 87% win rate, right? I mean, that means every series they're theoretically taking it about 3-1, right? So even just drawing them back down to 2-2 is a pretty good task. But I mean, this is also the time where you guys have started to synergize a little bit more. You're starting to find your feet. Do you feel like you guys have settled into this? And we're going to leave it with that as we're going to be going into our 4-game series, of course. Week number 3 of RSC SSA, if you guys are just joining in now. 3rd game of the 4 of the night. And we jump into the rivals here. So, Greybeard, are you guys starting to feel like this could be a shift in momentum? Has something finally clicked for you guys as a squad?
it's a little rough in terms of scheduling our scrims. So we absolutely have not scrimmed enough, but we did the other night against the Critical Force boys, and we did okay. In preseason, we were getting smashed around, but yeah, we held our own. That was pretty even. So there's definitely something there. Oh no, but early on, look at this, out the gate, the Jacks are behind a rocket from Mr. Crane.
Oh, fantastic power, fantastic placement. Poor sitting on the ground, that's all you get. You don't even jump for that sort of ball when you know it's coming in there. And Prolific showing some great early aggression and taking advantage to get themselves a first goal. Jacks and their wonderful Lumo, that has to be the brightest color we've seen, and have a bit of a breakaway. And Stacey Jacks actually going to find one underneath the crossbar.
Yo, well, 19 seconds in, and it's a goal fest early on. Hopefully this long may it continue. But more an error, defensive error on the part of Bros, opening the door. Stacey Jacks pretty much just had to hit hard and true, and he got himself a goal.
I mean, those are the hardest shots, so congratulations. That is, at the end of the day, it still counts. And quickly into another salvo. Complex leads the charge there. Good dunk comes out from Nanarki to be able to keep that in the corner, and some demos to be added into the mix mean that Jacks still maintain a good amount of pressure coming in here. Complex manages to chip it up and over, but the diving attacker was not up to the task. Nanarki being the one to actually find the back of the net. Great follow-up, great presence in and around this red net, and a sublime finish past the three defenders who had been scattered by the previous attempts.
And I'm very impressed watching from the outside here. You know, when you're in the Discord call and your in-game comms, it's all very chaotic at times. But looking at it from the outside here, they look pretty good as a unit. They look like they play together regularly, which is quite nice to see.
It's good. It's good to see. It's a rare comment to be making. It looks like they play together, but when you guys have had to worry about subs so often in the season, that obviously does break a lot of your cohesion. And yet these three are without a doubt on the same page right now. Nice chip out from Stacey Jacks to send it up to Complex on the other side. Doesn't manage to get anything a hold of that, but still the team with one mind coming forward right now, and a good chip towards the center. The touch just wasn't there. Jacks had the chance. Complex, a soft touch to the left-hand side means Jacks unable to wrench something out of this after they did all the work to set it up, but they're not done quite yet. Stacey Jacks with work to do on the back line.
Yeah, it's one of those opportunities you look back if you land up losing and you go, oh man, if only we had it there. And you know what I'm enjoying about RSC and now experiencing it as a player is there are absolutely competitively minded players out there, but by and large, particularly in the lower ranks, you know, this is all people who have real lives in one respect or another, whether it's university or work or whatever, trying to make time for some competitive Rocket League. So it's quite a challenge getting, so you're not scrimming as often as you would if you were a pro team, and it's this disparate crowd of people coming together to play, and it's lovely, and I'm really enjoying being a part of that. And given that circumstance, I'm very proud of what the Jacks are doing out here so far.
I like what you say there. It's like one step above a casual pickup game with friends in the weekend. There is a lot to be played for, and people are taking this really seriously, and you can see in the way that they play, the speed that comes out, the tenacity with which they approach these competitions, and big shout out to the crowd who's also gotten involved. But Prolific now sitting just around this net for a while. Nanarki decides to play it slow to try and shove it up and out. But Prolific finally getting a bit of an extended period of time here. Nanarki trying to bring this down off the crossbar. Doesn't get it far, but the touch afterwards. Stacey Jacks somehow wrenches that thing with a miracle vice grip out of the back of the net.
And that was
word from Complex.
Man, that counter would have really hurt, bro, because we were gifted there. The Jacks were given a gift. The setup, the pressure, that should have been a Prolific goal. And just like the Jacks missed an opportunity not too long ago, the Prolific have missed one here. But more seriously for them, it means they didn't level the game when they could have, and that might put them under, make them a little anxious and stressed.
Chance for Prolific right now, coming forward without any real forethought or planning into how they wanted to approach this attack, but they still making themselves available Naki manages to tap it towards the side. Complexity can't get the extra touch that they need to send it high, and the team working together to try and muscle it as a squadron up to the other side of the field. Crane, the only one needed, would pay to that immediately and just as quickly reinforced, but Stacy at least kills it in the corner for a second. Prolific still not turned aside, waiting for a chance to muscle their way. There's so much physicality between these two teams in terms of they don't necessarily have the finesse touches that you would like to see if you're that sort of player. But I mean, they are pushing this ball through time and time again.
And it's nervy times out. It feels like the Jacks are kind of holding on right now. They're just like, guys, don't give it away. Let's just hang on. And that's a tough way to be playing your game of Rocket League. But so far it's worked for them. But in the last minute or so, it has been Prolific with all the pressure being in front of the Jacks line. And now they just got to hang on for the last 12 seconds. If they get this in, it's all over. But what a save, clutch save off the line. Keeps the Bros in it, but with just 3 seconds, the Jacks should take down game one.
All it had to do was touch the ground, and it does so quickly. Well played to the Dynasty Jacks, managing to take off that early lead. Great kickoff goal to equal up the score after what was as you said, a chaotic first 15 seconds. But it was the second half that really meant these two teams toe-to-toe. No one really pushed ahead. There was attempts by Bro, but nothing really concerted in terms of a long-term build-up. The pressure from Jacks was great, but then once they got put on the back foot, they kind of scrambled a little bit there. It was worrying moments for them as Stacey Jacks had to make that save.
And speaking of my lack of demos, 4 demos from the Jacks and nothing from the Bro. You mentioned the physicality, but clearly being a bit more effective on the side of the Jacks, but Ultrazom, I do have a little bit of PTSD thinking of last week, because if you recall that game, the Jacks came out. I thought we were going to be absolute heroes. We tore down those first 2 games and then completely fell apart in the last 2. So I have that at the back of my mind. Great start by the Jacks, but they also need to have a great finish at the back end.
Certainly. We'll see what the cause of that was. I mean, already the sub, Stacey Jacks, coming in as MVP in that game, makes you worry a little bit for your own position there, doesn't it, Greybeard? But
listen, I'm worried about my position from day one. I've gotten over the anxiety of worrying about my own position. I just want them to do well. But I rate Stacey. He's been a great part of the team. They all are a great part of it. So, did we have a false start? We have a false start.
A little bit early.
Oh, look. Color Cold. Go for it. You got open nets. You got open nets all day.
Wouldn't be SSA Rocket League without just 1 or 2 people jumping the gun. The excitement there. That's what we're going to put it down to, ladies and gentlemen. It's just people so anxious to get into the next game. But I like what you said, Greybeard. The fact that Stacey Jacks is doing well is just a sign. And it's something that when you're a part of a team like this, the ego gets put aside. Or at least if you're a good team, right? A good team puts the ego aside and they say, we are winning this or we are losing this together. So to get to see that sort of sub that you can call upon is certainly a great sign. And I mean, Bro, I'm not feeling like Prolific's out of this at all. That was certainly not a dominant win, right?
Yeah, no. I think that's in my mind that's a Prolific team kind of warming up. I don't know if they had time to scrim or get themselves organized before this game or
oh no,
oh boy, oh no, what is that? Do they need me? Oh no.
Okay, so Powers died is the call we got in the background from I think it was one of the Dynasty guys. So I don't know. I hope it's not all of them, like the entire area going down. Let's see about
okay, so well, this is awkward. Okay, so Bromeo, I'm sure will join you to cast this, but sorry guys, duty calls. I have to go get into game. Oh, this is crazy. Well, welcome to the Upside Down. It all continues now.
I think that's Greybeard just pulling the plug under the table. One of those guys going, no guys, we've won the first game. I need to get in there. This is just making me too anxious. But Greybeard, you do have a break at least from casting, so it's good. We're going to be going through to a very quick break. We're going to be going to. Sorry, I missed it. Okay, we're going to confirm that very soon.
Okay, so well, I tell you what. So while we wait to see if I'm going to be pressed into duty, we can take advantage of this moment to just talk a little bit about Comic-Con and VS and what's going on there. And Oh, okay. Oh, look at that. They're not even bringing me in as a sub. Oh, that's fine. We'll get a free agent. Tell Greybeard to keep casting.
I wouldn't take it personally. No, that was definitely nothing against you. Don't worry.
All right, fine. Well, to get back to the news on the big news that came out yesterday, and it's unfortunate the way this has all been communicated, but there is the FIFA E Rocket League World Cup, which is happening, I think, in November, and 16 nations are competing for the Rocket League World Cup. South Africa is one of those nations. And then there has been the question of how the team is going to be selected to represent South Africa. And what we found out yesterday is that the qualifiers are being run by VS Gaming. And how that works, there are 2 days of qualifying, 12th and 13th of October. So on the 12th, it's an open qualifier. Any teams can sign up and compete in the open qualifier. And then obviously the closed qualifiers on Sunday. But the top 4 teams, the teams who finish top 4, of the 8 teams that are competing at Comic-Con will auto-qualify for the closed qualifiers on Sunday. So that's pretty big news for that. And so at least we have some clarity now on how the team to represent South Africa is going to be selected.
I'm excited for that. And if you guys are interested, I mean, maybe you weren't able to go to Comic-Con, but you got a good team, go make sure that you're signing up for that open qualifier. I love the fact that it opens up for free agents, but it does raise a very interesting question. Because the top 4 teams that are going there, I was watching the Comic-Con stream this morning, some amazing teams. You got Reverse Oreo and all the good guys. Olympic was out there. I was really excited to see it. But it does not include Limitless. They were not at Comic-Con right now, right? So the open qualifiers...
So they're going to have to go open quals on the Saturday, which I'm sure is going to thrill them no end.
Oh, well, guys, if you're not going to join in yourselves, you've got to make sure to join that. Because, I mean, the opportunity that this presents, Greybeard, for us to be invited as a nation for the first time, really, into the World Cup. And we've got a team, I mean, Limitless, to break away completely to RLCS, they put up a show, and there were a lot of international people saying, they're finally starting to deserve their place. They're starting to stand their ground against some of these big teams, and they have been certainly they've been working themselves very hard to be able to get to this position where they can represent South Africa. So Limitless is going to be there as certainly the benchmark, but everyone's been grinding hard. So I'm very excited. What does this Comic-Con action refine in a team? What sort of experience does it give them? Is there another team that can come in with Limitless, or is this perhaps even the opportunity for some roster shuffles to come in there? There's so much to chat about. Greybeard?
Yeah, well, it looks like I'm going to have to disappear and go and represent. I don't think they found a free agent, so they're going to have to deal with me.
Okay, so we are going to get Greybeard on the field. Yes, I'm excited for this. Go demo.
That's
friend.
Crazy
demo.
stuff. Well, enjoy it. I'm going to put on as much of a show as I can.
What a day of Rocket League for this man over here. We're going to be bringing in Bromeo very shortly with this for the continuation of Bro Livic versus the Dynasty Jackson. Certainly we trade out one bit of bias for another. The Bromeo himself going to be the one to come in. We're just a game deep into this fun now, and Jack's managing to take that in a thrilling 2-1 start. As one of the players has lost power, just for those people who don't know, who have just jumped in here. But we are going to be getting into this, and I believe, there he is, the Bromeo himself. Now gets the chance to jump in front of the camera. And am I swinging from one polar opposite to the other? Are you now firmly in the bro court? Yeah.
No, what? It's not as though it was a franchise I started a couple of years ago. Why would I be biased at all? And
you can trust, guys. I'm the only one.
But how I'm sad for Nanachi losing power, but how cool is it that you get to see somebody drop from the casting booth onto the field so that we can just roast his demo plays for the next 15 minutes or so? I think that's great.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of the things I've always heard. One of those pearls of wisdom is a good coach or a good commentator should still be able to show up. Like, we're not talking it has to be the best in the world, but you're going to be able to espouse these things that you're telling other people to do. So Greybeard is in that very unique situation right now, but we're playing well up until this stage. So I think they are going to be happy to have him back in there and now can go wrench that MVP title away from Stacey Jackson, prove why he belongs on the field.
Honestly, that's amazing. If Greybeard gets a series MVP after dropping in, no warm up, nothing.
Oh.
That's you couldn't write it any better. They'll write it in the storybooks, in the history books. It'll be known as that day.
And the man has had a long day. Like he said, 7 games of Rocket League he casted today. And I can tell you guys, you've probably experienced a lot of Rocket League and you felt that fatigue after a long gaming session. Casting is just as intense. Every second you're 100% in there. So man's had a long day, probably got up very early for this, knows he's got a long day tomorrow. And like you say, absolutely no warm-up. In, like he's, to use his words, the roughest period of Rocket League he's had in many a month. So we'll see if he can go in there. But stellar players are always able to read the game. I have no doubt that we're still in for a good show. And his team has given him the 1 game advantage. I mean, come on.
Truth. And Greybeard's a veteran, so if anybody can do it, I know that he can. And they're going to want to keep up the momentum because they, Dynasty took the first win. And this is going to be a long time out for both teams. So possibly Bro, coming into the second game, have had time to think about things for a little bit. Now, there is Greybeard on the field, GB, the man himself. And we're going to see a kickoff. And straight into the corner. There we go. There it is.
The demo comes out immediately in the scarab, Nochal, adding insult to injury. What are you doing? Man is playing right now on his phone, I'm sure. But certainly lives up to our expectation. Creates a little bit of a puff and cloud, and Jax immediately into a good aggressive attempt. Greybeard, the wrecking ball flies through there, quite harmlessly though, as it fails to make any connection. And Complex trying to set up for a big aerial play. Early jump comes up from Stacey with 2 challenges on the defensive line. Oh, actually nearly caught them out of position with that overcommitment, but still nothing coming out there for Jax.
Oh, but I love the power play there. It's, straight across. GB with another demo, this time on Naveds. And people are going to be watching out for this little scarab flying around the field, killing everything that moves. And now Naveds taking possession, gets the flick off, but again, another demo. And I'm going to hate to see the demo stats at the end of this game, and not just for GB's sake, but that entire team looks hungry for them.
I mean, GB was also taken out of the play as we have a bit of a build-up. Stacey actually got this coming down in for fortuitous way. Greybeard going to take a shot across the goals, only just wide. It's not just the other players he can hit. He can make a pretty good connection with his fellow spherical object as Complex going to finish it off. First goal goes to the Dynasty Jackson after a really nice 1-2 play. The whole team with full cohesion, coming in as a squad, cramping up their opponents, getting themselves a nice flower for their price.
Ooh, Complex, such poise, such precision, 0 boost, and he got that on the corner of his car, and it rocketed top bins, and that was brilliant. And another GB demo coming in there, resetting this play back into the Dynasty corner. But Complex proving he's an aerial ace, beats 2 immediately, and it just takes 1 good hit, and it's back in the Bro side of things. And I'm very interested to see the aerodynamics of that Scarab, because I haven't seen much good car control come from it yet, and I'm not sure if that's the car or if that's GB. But I'm hopeful yet.
Oh, savage. Man chose violence here. Just getting that hit back first against Greybeard before he's going to come back. Haunts children's nightmares, this man in the little Scarab, looking to end their lives. But I have seen Prolific looking for a couple of demos themselves. Wow, there's just explosions all over the field. A wayward shot from Naveds actually takes a moment's break there for the Jacks, who can just all respawn, try to gather some boost, but gonna have to do it quickly as the... Oh no, he's even got like the terrible little sound in the background, skirting and farting himself along the field. That's awful, Greybeard. I love it, but 2 minutes left in game number 2 here for Prolific to try and force at least the chance of a victory. Great shot there.
Well, Prolific are definitely signaling intent. Plenty of shots and plenty of possession. They're absolutely laying siege to the Jax line of things, and only a couple fortuitous clears have spared Dynasty from a goal. But yet, Jax are in the lead. They're going to try and hold on to this for as long as possible. Very good fake there by Mr. Crane. Now Color Cold playing it down to Naveds, but it seems like they can't get the go forward. They want to, but Stacy Jax putting it into the corner, doesn't have any boost, steals the corner, and now GB passing it, but not quite there.
Pass was good. Unfortunately, when you only have a third man back, to go up for that in the first place is risky. And Prolific doing a great job of just making sure that no challenges and no attempts really manufacture themselves. Another high pass comes out there, going to bounce and gives time for Complex. Gonna roll it. No, doesn't manage to get the perfect waterfall down. And teammates still went for it there. It was, of course, Stacy Jax looking on that one, but Prolific managing to force their way out of their half of the field. Navid trying to bring it down to the ground. Stacy with a good touch and actually has a follow-up afterwards. Takes it past another one, looking for the pass towards the center. It's a big pinch, but Navid's going to be a hard challenge here by Complex, and Jax have found a bit of momentum in the last minutes.
Well, it looks like Stacy Jax has been tasked with the physical damage and GB with the psychological, and there we go. Counter shot there by Mr. Crane. Shot from halfway. Absolutely brilliant.
Stacy had work to do in the middle there, just doesn't get to it, and Complex tries with a great jump attempt. It's a little bit before his car and ends up getting the angle wrong there. Prolific manages to level it out with 44 seconds to go, and I think the key problem there was just the lack of demos. And Color Gold, the top goal scorer of the series so far here for Prolific, gonna pick up another one. Great kickoff goal, reads this perfectly as gently as you like, steers that towards the goal, and suddenly the entire game flipped on its head in a matter of 10 seconds.
Well, Color Cold, the rival leading goal scorer for RSC Season 1, strikes again. That was absolutely clinical by him. And now Prolific take the lead in this game too with 30 seconds to go. And you're gonna see they're feeling pretty confident here as they keep shots going in across, and this might be in. But Complex making that last gasp save, but not out the woods yet. Still on the Dynasty line. 15 seconds left.
15 seconds left, and Jax yet to look down the other side of the field. A bit of a breakaway here. Final moment shenanigans loom for these two teams. Stacy Jax shut down. Navid's beaten into the air by Complex. Needs to keep it up. Graybeard up to the task. Needs one more, but the wrecking ball. No way to try and scoop that any further out there. Prolific wrenches this game back into their hands after shutting down an early offense. They're going to be able to level up the series.
He came in like a wrecking ball. 7 demos in that game, but the only stat that counts is the 2-1 scoreline at the end of it. Mr. Crane claiming the MVP, but Color Cold with a lot of the shots there, and it was aggression from both sides. 7 total demos from Bro, 9 from Dynasty, but GB's little scarab demos there were wreaking absolute havoc. So very unfortunate for a power disruption, but for entertainment value, I'm loving this.
I'm entertained. I'm sure that you guys are in the most Spartan way you could be, right? That was gladiatorial combat at its finest, but I mean, right now, it does take us to an interesting point in the series. Graybeard did say that they would be happy to settle for a draw. If they could take this 3-1, they would be ecstatic. And still looking for that first win here in RSC. It's only week number 3, so plenty of time still to get there. But now would be a great time to do it. On the other side, Prolific seemed to have found some good answers, because the second half of that game saw very little opportunities from the Jacks.
I can see that Bro is a very good quality side. They've got Mr. Crane, they have got Color Cold, and obviously Navid in with as an AGM. And the pick-off goal, just like that, Mr. Crane scoring another boomer down the line. And that's going to set them up pretty well and put a dent in some of that Dynasty confidence.
I was wondering where Jack's third man was, but Navid with the subtle little bump that I only saw on the replay on the way through means that no one can skirt, and that's the danger of... No. It's 2.
No. So it looks... It looks like just straight over their cheat. And I think the cheat was a little bit too close there. That follow-up, not quite there, and just doinked straight over the top for the simplest of goals by Color Cold. I'm sure he's used to much more elegant finishes, but it's a goal nonetheless. And Bro are now 2 up.
Yeah, I mean, they say that you always cheat. Oh, Greybeard with a shot! Oh, answers immediately. Gets so much power from the floating little scarab in the air. It bounces up there. No one home for Prolific to challenge us. They instead decide to head towards the backboard. And he plays his infamous African bouncer right in the center between the two of them. 15 seconds in and 3 goals. All right, we have a game.
I've got a question now. You know, he hit that perfectly with the corner of a round vehicle. And I'm not sure how you even do that, given that he's playing with a circular thing. And just it speaks to the gray buff, the aura. And that was an immaculate shot, but I don't want to dwell on it too quickly because here he comes with another demo. And Greybeard's flying with his tail up at this point, almost intercepting that pass. Ooh. But open goal here. Crane just needs to knock it down. Can't get there. And GB with the clear.
Well, that was tense moments there for a second for Jackson as they find their way back down to the other side of the field. Greybeard once more over the top. Only a single touch on it means that Color Cold going to be able to pick this up. Going to turn for the second challenge as well. It's 2 players he's now beaten. Trying for that bit of another dent, but got Crane and the rest of the company in tow. Naved's bringing up the left-hand side, looking to reinforce here. Does manage to get a good touch. Uses a lot of boost and can't get that out of the corner. Now going to sucker all 3 players in. No, Crane stays back, has that bit of awareness, knowing Jax has the opportunity to make the counter-attack. Ball comes past Naved's. Color Cold on the line has to make the touch. Greybeard, it was Stacy Jax, I believe, jumping for that and just could not finish it off. And Prolific looked to turn around that aggression on their captors.
Oh, fantastic play so far by Prolific, holding on with a narrow lead. But it's still, they need to feel comfortable if they scored another goal. Because right now, a 1-goal lead means nothing in a tied series so far. So I know that Dynasty Jack still fancy their chances, and they're going to play for it. With still half of the game remaining, anybody can win it.
Attempt for the demo play coming out in the back line. Prolific taking a page out of Greybeard's book, and instead, though, don't get anything. What a touch! Complex picks up a difficult pass on the near post. Manages to turn themselves upside down. They was just standing and waiting for Prolific. Does not decide to try to challenge that. They've got one on the wall already. They cannot picture that Complex going to be able to work miracles and bend the ball around that inside post. We have a level game and we're not even at halfway yet.
Well, this is exactly what we wanted to see from a Game 3 in a tied series. And now, with halfway left in the game and scores are deadlocked, this is a short game. All they need to do is make sure that they are the team that puts in that goal. Naved's playing it across now. Oh, this is titillating stuff. And I promise you, I wasn't paid to say that. That is a word, I promise.
I'm just impressed at how much bias you're holding back here for the Prolific squad, because they've been doing a phenomenal job of this game so far and look to be the aggressors in the vast majority of it as Jax once more forced back onto their own side of the field. Some creative touches, shall we call them, coming out there, and some big dimes coming out from Jax, but they've opened the path. It's going to be Greybeard with the weirdest scoop I have ever seen off a car of that shape, but still manages to maintain possession. Looking for a chip towards the center. Beats out one. He's got it jumping. Stacey Jackson. Complex is the third man. Able to do all he's able to do is win out the 50 and still keeps it around the Prolific side. Greybeard is retreated all the way back. Going to at least be able to find it down behind the 2 incoming Prolific players and gives them pause for thought.
Pause for thought indeed, but they've got a minute left and all the decisions to make. Naved's in the air now trying to get the shot through, but everybody back. This has been a very measured game, and although I like to say that Color Cold is a prolific striker, he is, but he is an even better man on defense. Very, very solid. So in games where they need to clutch up, they hold on tight. And I'm not surprised to see this game sitting where it is right now.
Bit of a physical play attempt from Stacey Jackson to dribble it up. That's dangerous. Complex reacts in time and manages to shut out the shot. Doesn't decide to go for the second. Again, a little bit of miscommunication coming out from the Jack side. They do at least manage to get the ball towards Complex, who put in a valiant shot attempt. Giving away possession right now. Complex looking for the turn. Gary Beard sitting in the back line. Doesn't manage to get hold of this. Great cut through by Stacey Jack. So opens up some space with the pace behind it as well. There's a big push forward coming from the Jacks in the last 20 seconds. But they don't get it. Now Prolific have a chance to look at the other nets. And there's a big pass. A bingo shot. Color called. Of course it's going to be you. Picking up that goal number 3 here. And Mr. Crane living up to that name. So from so high in the air. Finds the winning pass down to the teammates.
Fantastic shot there by Color Cold, praised very, very highly, and making it count. And we almost saw another kickoff goal there, this time by Naveds, but Stacey playing it out. They've got 10 seconds now to score it, but they've got a long way to travel. And if Prolific has anything to do with it, they're going to stop it. But Complex can't get that in there. Naveds keeping it up though in the spirit of things. But now Stacey determined to play it down and force for the draw in game number 4.
Oh, force for the draw. There's been such a change here. The side of the Jacks, I don't know. There has, of course, been a lot of interchange of players through here. Everyone's pulling their weight, and certainly not putting this on Greybeard coming in there, or Nanaki being the big playmaker here for the Jacks, but they're just definitely not on the same page as much. A couple of double attempts going through there, but finding their shots, finding their chances. Really nice bit of rallying play there. Chaotic first 15 seconds, but the rest of it, like you said, was a toe-to-toe battle, a slogfest for these two teams. And Demo's taking a drop down here, but shots still pretty healthy for both these sides.
I did notice that. I know I remarked that GB had 7 demos by himself in the course of last game, but I don't think both sides combined managed to get to 7 demos in this one, and it speaks volumes of how seriously they're taking this game, because demos come out when you're trying to apply pressure, when you're not under pressure. And both sides have knocked it back a bit. They've kept their third man back further. GB's little Scarabmobile hasn't been as scary as it was in game number 2, but possibly that is the special sauce. Maybe that is the missing ingredient. Maybe we do need to see more demos.
Well, certainly the boogeyman turning into Santa Claus for a lot of the players on the field right now is looking to bring in the gifts here for Jacks. They have yet to pick up a victorious series in the season so far, and right now they have been that title has eluded them so far, but they can certainly play for their ever-present draws. And Stacey Jacks, what a dunk to be able to set up the first goal.
Yeah, Color Cold was clearing, and Stacey Jacks was like, "How's your father?" And there we go. That is all she wrote. 10 seconds in and a dunk. And what a dunk it was. GB going up, but not enough boost. Fakes it out. Master play there by Greybeard. Vintage move. And now keeps the pressure up. But, honestly, this is champagne Rocket League we're seeing.
Vintage. Obviously a good year. Greybeard finds it up high with a broken defense and goes for the demo afterwards. That's a really nice use of that. Looking for the chip pass in towards the center. Stacey Jacks found Complex, but neither of them was able to push it successfully past any of the defenders. Greybeard up for a great challenge. Forces again Prolific to do work on their back line, but a little bit too far pushed up as the Jacks, and they're going to be punished. Not if Complex has anything to say. Comes forward for the heroic save and even manages to push it far out there. Prolific, they had their breakaway opportunity, and now Stacey Jack's actually going to be credited with that demo, but it's left them a little sparse in defenders, and Gold gonna take advantage.
He took advantage of that broken play after quite a heavy chase by GB and Stacey Jacks. They wanted that demo, but Color Cold wanted the goal. And in the end, he got it. And that's an equalizer for Prolific. And we've seen tied scores very, very frequently in this series. And it speaks to how closely contested this game is. And there we go, Color Cold with a follow-up in it feels like seconds, Ultraism.
Man, how this prolific side likes to turn pressure around and then just exacerbate the problem by putting in not just one goal, but two to not level this up, but stamp their authority on this. They would love to continue their great streak that started off the RSC season number 3. And add another win to their tally, and they can do it now. Still a long way to go. That's the thing about this series so far. A lead is not easy to defend when you've been going this close between the two. Greybeards facing the wrong way. Color Cold going to be gifted with a third, and there's the Santa Claus that I was talking about.
Oh man, if that was a Dominus, he would have saved it. But
It would have been a backflip, right? Big,
Yeah,
big
no.
flat bonnets, knock it out, easy stuff. This
If-
is on you,
if-
Greybeard.
if you look closely, you could see he hit it with the corner of his car, and that was intentional. He's just giving Prolific a little bit of a chance, and now they're resetting because it's easier to come back from 3-1 than it is from 2-1. Watch the science. It is proven. Now, GB putting it into the corner with some heavy algorithms there as they start applying the pressure. Complex taking the shot, but blocked again by Naveds. And Jacks are doing a very, very good job of keeping possession close in the prolific half.
Oh, the challenge comes in. Greybeard tries to pop it out. Neither of the Jacks plays, even with 2 in tow. Neither of them wanted to dive into this. Instead, go for the second build-up. Complex misses this and puts pressure under Greybeard. He's using the rotations of the Scarab and confusing us all with which way he's facing. Complex takes the air, looking for that double. Gets denied out there by Naved. It's an anime episode right now with the number of attempts, shots, and parries coming out right now. They're moving at such pace, but Prolific has found their way onto the right side of the field and only just kept out by Greybeard on that attempt.
Well, if you look closely, it was actually a very safe save there by Greybeard. It's just because the car is round, it looks a little bit more difficult than it is. Greybeard taking up designated goalkeeper in this one, confident that Stacy Jackson Complex will make it. GB falling back again. Pings it into his own backboard. Masterstroke there by the playmaker himself. And now Stacey Jacks trying to get the clear, but Naved attempting the poach. And now cleared along the wall. Greybeard heading across, trying to get the demo ahead of the ball. Shot coming through, and Stacey Jacks pulls up another goal for Dynasty.
And there, just as I was saying, Prolific, the team to be watching right now as they've been putting on a masterclass in the last couple of minutes. And they let their concentration break for just a second. Suddenly, Jack's well within range of striking back, taking this game for themselves, leveling up the series. They got one more goal to do that. Still just under 2 minutes left on the clock. Greybeard once more now taken out of his seated position where he was so comfy, and boost stolen behind him. The Color Cold's on the wrong side of the play. On the other side of the field, Complex and Stacey Jacks link up together with such a beautiful layoff here from the corner. Baits out the near post defender. The shot comes in before back post has any chance to respond.
Oh, that was a tap in if I ever saw it, but how was that pass clinical? Prolific couldn't do anything about that. It was just a fantastic goal, and I love to see it. And now, Prolific and Jacks scores a tie, 1 minute to go, but Stacey Jacks with the clear and passing it off to Complex. They're starting again. Demo there quickly on Color Cold, but quick recovery straight across the goals. And again, more drama on the Prolific line. They're going to need to start setting up some attack if they want to get a goal back. But it honestly looks like Dynasty's in the driver's seat.
Oh, this game deserves an overtime. Come on, you guys in Twitch have to agree with me right now. It's been such a close fight, such a drama-filled session for us in game number 3 here. And I mean, with a minute left on the clock, these two teams locked up. It really does feel like golden goal, whether it comes now or outside of regulation time. Just one goal could be it. And there's a shot coming in. No one from Jacks jumping up there. The ball was in a prime position. But Aveds makes some space down towards the other side of the field. Links up and forces 2 players into that corner, so they're just going to take a step back, regather themselves. Good shot across there, Tess Greybeard, and the second shot with so much power, and from that angle, Mr. Crane, you madman.
I was too busy watching Greybeard soaring across the skies in his little Scarab making that majestic save to see Mr. Crane on the outskirts of his vision lining up for that goal, and very well taken opportunistic goal there by Mr. Crane. And now Prolific with 20 seconds to go will think that they might have this one, but they are not out of it yet. Dynasty Jacks with possession and some boost in their tanks. Stacy Jacks playing it across, but Navet pushing it out, still in the corner, across to the middle. GB chasing hard. All Prolific need to do is hold on to some possession. They need to let it hit the floor, and unless GB can keep it up, and he can. We've seen crazier things than this, and there we go, straight down to the floor. Color Cold is not messing around, and there you have it. Bro Community coming out 3-1 winners against Dynasty Jacks, but let's not get fooled, folks. That was an incredible series.
Yeah, 3-1 almost belies it, and that's the big thing about this RSC format with 4 games. We don't get a series winner, because I think that like in a 5-game series, this would have been a 3-2 kind of thing, as opposed to, you know, a 3-1. But Bro certainly came in as the favorites. They've got a better record in terms of shots and goals and wins over the series as a whole, over the whole of RSC, let's be fair. But Greybeard did say they were worried about the second half. For the last couple of weeks, they've been haunted by games number 3 and 4, and once more, just a single goal in each of these has paid the dividends, and it really did feel like that Color Cold well-deserved MVP. Absolutely no need for us to discuss that. I mean, 20 goals before this series and adds another 6 to that tally after 3 weeks. He's shooting at an average of, 8 goals now per week? I mean, that's insane.
That is absolutely wild and very understated from Greybeard. But I honestly love the way that we play. We saw the play here. It was very to and fro. Bro was on the ropes for a little while, going down early on, and it was only through sheer force and defense, because Dynasty threw everything they had. You see the shots very, very close, the saves very, very close, the demos favoring Dynasty very favorably there, and that's mainly down to the addition of Greybeard himself. And there's no other differentiator except for the fact that Bro managed to pull this one out.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, Bro was the stronger team, and all the stats do reflect that. You know, 10 goals versus 8, 23 shots versus 18, saves on the side of Jack Paramount there. They were half a step ahead, but certainly not for the entirety of the series, and not even for long periods of time. It's not like we saw 2 or 3 minutes where Jacks had no answer. Yeah, they got pushed back and cramped up a little bit, but Jacks had their own share of exorbitantly long periods, and they did often culminate in goals from that. It just almost felt like that was the problem. Sometimes it took too much to get a goal for the Jacks. The Prolific wasn't on the defense for as much as they needed. It's not like they had to save 6 or 7 shots in a row. Jacks were able to come forward with something, try for something, maybe have 1 or 2 more attempts and then go back. But I do feel that Jacks are a prominent team that are going to carry on doing well in this series. It's just sad for them that they've lost that undefeated streak. I mean, I think a lot of the teams in this rival series are going to be quite intimidated, or at least respectful, when they come up against Prolific themselves.
Well, I think, Bro are going on 3 games unbeaten now, so that's a third of your games done. And if you've gotten 3 wins, that's a fantastic start to your season. So very well done to them, but also very well played by Dynasty. And speaking of well played, we've got our favorite man in the building once more. It is Greybeard.
Hey, so 1 more series to go. Looking forward to the last series of the night. I think it's going to be an absolute banger.
Subtle, I like it. I'm going to feed with it. We're going forward now, back down to prospects. And Romeo, would you like to introduce it being the host? Because the hint, I think, has been taken.
We will not talk about the result any further. We will talk about how great Greybeard looks today. And
what a good caster I am.
Fantastic. Absolutely. The way you casted that last game, immaculate.
Your casting is better than your choice of cars. Let's put that out there.
I knew I was going to take stick for that, but it was late. I had no time. It was the car I last used. I love the Scarab, but yeah, it's there's a reason you don't see it in high-level gameplay.
But moving on, we do have one final game of Rocket League to show you folks here tonight. So I hope you're not planning on going anywhere. It is Critical Force Omega versus Redirect Accelerate. And I will let you, Alt and Greybeard, take it away.
Two interesting sides coming down here. In Prospect, I'm always looking at the team, not individual players. But when it is here, I mean, we're looking at Coconut, who's at 12-10, who's only just short of the Rivals tier in terms of individual players. But right now, I'm excited to see these two teams just because Prospect has weird stuff that goes on, man.
It's the lottery section of RSC. You know, well, what do they say? A box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So a little bit of a lucky packet, a little bit of a box of chocolates, a little bit of a lottery. But it is, and you know, ironically, I do think that at Prospect is where the players themselves actually enjoy themselves the most. I mean, if I think about my last game, I mean, I hate the fact of how I played and the fact that we didn't win, but I think the Prospects, they're just having a good time. Also, remember the good old days where Rocket League was just fun all the time.
No, that's way too long in my memory. No, I'm joking. I actually sat down for the first time in months and played Rocket League today with no competitive spirit, and it was fantastic. I love this game like this. And like you say, these guys are here to have fun, but they're also here to try and make a name for themselves, to start taking this game quite seriously. And a lot of these players are. I mean, both of these two teams have come in here, their first two series, they both won one and drawn one. So no one defeated yet. I don't think now is the time anyone really wants to put that mark on their record.
And Bruv is in there. He's the Critical Force general manager. So good to see him in the mix. I don't know if he's going to be on the roster tonight, so we'll be looking out for that. But 17 goals out of Coconut, and you pointed out just shy of the rival tier. So clearly they're, well, on the face of it, their best player, but only 3 goals ahead of Bruv, and only 5 ahead of Swifty Rock. So they had a very bad opening week. Like, their opening week wasn't great, but they're coming back strong. Generally speaking, Critical Force as an org. So they are certainly a team to respect.
I mean, looking at that, I did the quick maths in my head. There are 47 shots or 47 goals scored by this team in 2 weeks. In
8 games.
In 8 games.
Yeah.
That is actually an impressive showing to go up there. They're scoring at an average of, quick maths, 3 goals per game kind of thing. There's more than that. 6 goals per game, something close to that. 5 or 6. 5. Let's go with 5, right? Lots. And on the other side, another team that loves slotting it in the back of the net. 19, 15. Vian and Jake the Snake, Dark Adepts. Razor, I assume, has just not had too much time on pitch. But, I mean, another team with the same mentality, the same win rates, the same idea coming in here, and a much more balanced roster, although balance didn't show anything on the previous scorecard. So I think we're going to be looking at a slugfest here, Greybeard.
Well, Jake's the Snake, I know, is I've played against him, funnily in casual, but he strikes me as similar to me in that I don't think I've ever played a casual game of Rocket League. I'm all sweat all the time. Yeah. And Jake's the Snake is like that. I mean, even in casual, he gets incredibly grumpy when he loses. And when he gets demoed, I will say that he is susceptible to the demo rage. So if you can demo him 2 or 3 times, you've definitely got him on the wrong side of the mentality. So that might be something to exploit.
Insider trading coming out, Chad. It leaks all the secrets there. But yeah, I mean, it can come up to anything. Even in your series there, I noticed in the games, especially that first one that you joined, so game number 2, the demos were taking a big toll. It was making people cut rotations. They even started chasing demos against you as well. So throwing stuff like that, I saw that early boom. I just smiled and laughed. But it was good to see. And it's certainly something that could come out here. I think when it comes to Prospect, rotations are so critical. Having good team structure is so critical. If you get a demo, or if you bait your opponents into a double commit, that really can just open everything up for the next 30 seconds until you get a goal.
Yeah, well, it is, and there are. I mean, if I look at the Dynasty's Prospect team, there are some really good teams, good players that are coming out of that, and these two are clearly two of those to be paying attention to it. And, we have a little bit of fun about, it's a lottery and it's kind of crazy and stuff. But you've made a very valid point, is that there are players who take this seriously and want to be good and want to become better through competing in something like RSC. So I fully expect to see some pretty good gameplay out here as we get into it. And we are off!
Final series for the night here in week 3 of RSC Season 3. And we go down to the prospect here. Omega Force versus Accelerate. Not going to see all the aerial dribbles. I really hope people at prospect level are not trying for air dribbles just yet. But good consistency. Who makes the least number of mistakes? Who can keep their mind around them and get the good positioning in front of the goals or to take the shot? All of these factors so pivotal that we take for granted in Rocket League. Or Jake the Snake gonna send it up, and both teams at least looking and haunting around their opposition's goals.
Oh, big whiff there from Swifty Rocks. It might cause them a bit of strife because it's been picked up here by Accelerate. It's in front of the net, but cool as you like, Cornflakes. Now, Cornflakes, I didn't see him on the list. Is that I'm not sure if that's one of their roster or if they've brought in a free agent to, or if it's just one of their usual roster with a different name.
Yeah, it's either Frenchie or Coconut. So we're going to try and figure that out for you guys, and we're just going to keep going with Cornflakes for now. But they're going to hope that they've still got at least Coconut on the field right now, their top goal scorer, their top ranked player, and in fact the captain of their squad would be devastating to lose. So we'll see if Coconut and Cornflakes are the same thing. Now I'm hungry for breakfast cereals. But anyway, we're going back into the game. Omega Force on the challenge right now. Nice ball across the field, but no one going to be challenging up with it.
All right, here comes Jakes the Snake, trying to bring it around. Bruv does well. Yes, he does. Going to get picked up by Cornflakes, the aforementioned Flakes. And Flakes, the RLCS player, he was, I think he was, he was another kind of Flakes. Never mind. Cornflakes it is.
So close. Very, very close between them. But, certainly Accelerate have a chance here. Looking to shoot it just high above the goals, and optimistic jump in there means that suddenly Accelerate have to take a step back. That's a good challenge, actually. Only just high above the backboard. Dark and Depth lurking around there for something to go in the back of the net. Is going to take a touch, turns into a pass. No shot forthcoming. Denied out by Omega Force. And as we level the halfway, Cornflakes in the air has got the challenge just too far away to get the extra touch he needed.
Yeah, just needed to be a little bit closer to them. But no goals here, but an enjoyable game. We've seen the requisite. Oh, back down off crossbar and in, and there we have it. Just over half the game gone, and Omega Force 1-up.
Omega Force, and that is the player that we've been touting the whole time. I've been told by Twitch chat, thanks for Hilux, for the awareness that is Coconut. Cornflakes is Coconut.
Okay.
Leaves us off with a great flick over the top to put Omega Force up by 1. And Accelerate have looked worrying at times where they haven't been able to get in, or a little uncertain on their own positioning. Soft touch gives possession away, and Swifty Rocks going to take full control of that, gets themselves out of the play, and actually Jakes with some speed causes problems in the back line, just can't get that last touch. And Royan, though, trying to come back in here, or at least buy time for the teammates.
I'm sure, and Twitch chat can help us out here, because I have definitely played against and with a Cornflakes, and I'm sure that he's a reunion player. I don't think he's a South African player, as far as I know. If Jack, Omega Force can't tuck it underneath the crossbar. Dark and Depth crossfield with the flick, and his attempt saved away. Hey, from Cape Town, never mind.
Yeah. We are full of almost correct information here tonight. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got you almost in good hands there. But certainly, again, some big mechanics being thrown out by a lot of people, but the missed aerials, the simple dropping ball, or the dribbles have been pretty good, but it's these follow-up shots. Who's quickly onto the pace of it? Who's being proactive in their nature without needing to pull out big mechanics? That's what I think the differentiating factor will be between these two teams. And that's a nice jump. Jakes with a good tap across the goal. Can't afford to throw their third man in there. Bruv getting tussled by his own teammates as Accelerate stay within the vicinity. Going to try for the shots. Can't do anything.
Man, oh man, everyone having a turn to miss at that. And Yeah, listen, it's a close game. Clearly it is. It's just one goal in it, but Accelerate have been more dominating in terms of their possession and territorial advantage. They haven't been able to turn it into more than one goal, and Omega Force should. They have the lead, of course. So, but danger there, and they do manage to keep. They're hanging on to the lead, and only need to hang on for another 20 seconds.
Good pass across there, even better, clear down towards the other side. Dark and Depth was looking for the extra touch, so Bruv hesitated, but no hesitancy in himself at all. Jake sets up the pass, and Dark and Depth had the moment there to shine brilliant and bring it back for Accelerate. They're going to have to let it touch down, and despite, like you say, the 90% towards the goal that Accelerate did time and time again, not able to finish anything off.
I just want to have a look at the field domination. There we go. Well, there you go. Redirect. Hold on a second. Explain that stat to me. Who was dominating the field there? Who's got 68%? That's Critical Force, right? Or was it the other way around?
I think that's what the graphic's showing, but it feels like it was the other way. I mean, if we just look at the shots, that seems to be the name of the game. I would say Redirect had the 68%.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Oh, I'm desperately trying to find numbers to justify what I'm saying.
Ball touches, definitely more in the favor of Redirect. So therefore, they were in possession.
And certainly the more aggressive Critical Force with their 5 demos to just the one from Redirect. But it doesn't get closer than that. One single goal in the entire 5 minutes of Rocket League. But whether it's 1 or 8, the only difference is goal difference. But it is a win for Critical Force. Omega Force!
Great start for them, I must admit. They looked composed at times. They looked like they were able to follow up on each other's plays, which was really good to see. You know, something that worries me is when your first man goes ahead and actually finds some sort of miracle out of it, but then your other 2 players are sitting so far in your own half that nothing comes out of it because they're not expecting it. You got to just make yourself available as second man, and Megaforce has been doing a great job of that, interlinking between their players like this and causing pressure anywhere on the field that they can. Up to Cornflakes now to come forward, but a bit of bounce dribble coming out there from Van Rooyen. 2 players up from Accelerate, and while they both go into the air, Cornflakes now going to have a bit of a 1v1 versus Van Rooyen. Dark and Depth, good intercept.
Well, that was kind of interesting. It looked like Coconut just kind of drove away from that and left the ball there. That could have been a lot of strife for Critical Force. They do survive it, though. They got another awkward one. Cornflakes, very good touch. Is 1v1. Looking for the hook shot, he gets it over, and he whiffs the final touch, but his touch just before there was enough to get the first goal.
Yeah, I've been very impressed to see Cornflakes and his dribbles. That's the thing I said, that these prospect players are actually doing really well, and it's one of the most powerful tools that people should be refining earlier. Dribble on the ground before you try and dribble in the air, friends, because it's so good, and you can see when you've got that breakaway and you need to be the one defender. Cornflakes does it, and then Jake's, okay, forget about your ground players, just take to the skies.
Oh, that was fantastic. Ultrasm pontificating about ground control, and then Jake's the Snake says, yeah, ground control, schmound control. How's this double tap?
Ground control for what? And I mean, that was an impressive play. I think that should go in any montage. That was high up in the air. The angle was difficult, and we have a level game. Cornflake says that whatever you can do, I can do better, but there's no follow-up. The follow-ups are so late here in Prospect. Oh, the opportunities are there, and the shot comes in. Bruv has made a couple of these great little pre-jump saves so far and keeps one more out. It's up to the rest of the team to stop this. No! Oh, Chaos Accelerate want to take advantage now, but they can't.
And Bruv doing big and important work in defense there. Couple of efforts, Bruv was there to make sure the ball got cleared, pushed into a corner and out. So they've survived that onslaught, and now there's an open net. But Jake's the Snake, feeling emboldened after his double tap makes the save.
Are you kidding me? I would jump for everything if I made a play like that. I'm still yet to find a good double tap like that, but certainly a player who's not as unfamiliar with them as I am takes to the stage right now, and Van Rooyen going to be taking his own dribble attempt there. The demo attempt was there. Nearly links it into a pass. That was top bins, and unfortunately just in that grey area between a fantastic shot and a great pass. Now they're looking backwards. Van Rooyen going to take control of this once more, but Rob stops that in its tracks.
All right, now Omega Force trying to build some sustained pressure. Bruv, now look at this, wanting to control, but his first touch let him down just a little bit heavy, and making for the easy intercept. We approach halfway, and we are locked in a dead heat between Accelerate and Omega Force. And they'll have another go. James the Snake couldn't pull off the double for the second time.
Again, another good example. First player manages to create something, and second player just wasn't there. But I mean, that first something when it's Jake the Snake is so good to watch still. Dark Adept manages to go under the ball right now, creates problems, a little bit of an overlap that they need to try and shore up, and does well. Jake the Snake in the center. Got another player coming in there. Dark Adept was challenged physically, I think, which is why his car was so awkward on the ground. An optimistic jump from Van Rooyen on the third part, leaves it in the middle, and Dark Adept once more. No, don't go for boost. Okay. Good stuff, Jakes. Turned around just in time.
1 minute 50. And it feels like the game sort of settled into one of those, you know, when you're watching one-day cricket and those middle overs where it's sort of just not a lot going on. It kind of feels we've hit that part in here in game 2 as they're locked at 1-1, and neither being able to get any penetrating shots past, but maybe now it's going to sneak under the crossbar. No, floating awkwardly in front, and it goes in. That was scrappy and wild, but Bruv gets there in time to finish it off.
Oh, you were mentioning one-day cricket. There's always that tenacity of the game to just fall apart for one side or the other as everyone gets lulled into it, and there Accelerate. They just go for a couple of optimistic jumps in there, but a miscommunication as the ball came off the wall. Omega Force took full advantage. A great push forward for them, and they managed to break the deadlock, looking to turn around just in time though, and Swifty rocks off his own upright there to keep it out and keep them 1 goal ahead going into the final minutes.
Yeah, and definitely in Discord, it's like, oh, great save. And all he's thinking is, oh, I'm so glad it didn't go in.
Yep. Could have been an even worse own goal, but he does come out with it. Now Cornflakes jumps up early, gets a touch towards the side to buy time, but Accelerate going to be diving in quickly. Van Rooyen and just sitting, waiting for this ball. Does at least pop it up over one, but does get displaced, so can't get the second touch themselves. That's a great ricochet. Someone's going to be coming off the backboard for this. It waits. And it just goes down. Van Rooyen pushes it actually towards their own net, and they're hoping to keep possession in the final 30 seconds, but they're on the wrong side of the field to touch. Omega Force look to put pay to it right there.
Oh, Bruv will be frustrated. There was such a beautiful setup, and you've been complaining about no one there to sort of follow up or be there for the pass. Bruv was there, but he sprays his shot wide of the net. But they do have the lead, and as it stands now, it's going to be another 1-goal game, but it will be 2 in front for Omega Force. There it is. The ball is grounded. Critical Force cannot lose the series.
Cannot lose this. I mean, this is a great sign for them. As yet undefeated, suddenly we find Accelerate's in a tenuous position now with a massive reverse sweep, basically as close as reverse sweep gets in this sort of series. They need to try and pull this back so that at least they get the tie points. I mean, even if they pull off one game right now, it would look good against this Omega Force, because Omega's they're just looking strong. And Cornflakes taking such a helm at the front there, but not selfishly. Look at the stats. They're so evenly spread for this Omega squad.
Yeah, and then over on the other side, you look at the Jake's the Snake's points. He's got 404 and then 126 and 100, which means a little bit of whether it's a communication either, but they just didn't click in that game as a team. The points quite nicely spread on the other side, but there, Jake's the Snake high and everyone else kind of struggling a little bit, so they're going to want to pick that up, but they're certainly not out of it yet. Critical Force have the luxury of not being able to lose the series now, but Accelerator are going to have to do all the work just to draw the series.
Yeah. And for any prospect players that are looking at this and trying to figure out what it is, or if it's not apparent, what I read into something like this from Accelerate, when you've got that big deficit, Jake is taking the lead and trying to force something. If he comes away from a goal, fantastic for the squad. But the other two, like I say, are just sitting a little bit hesitantly behind it, and that means you don't get that extended period of pressure. You get this kind of dynamic, this tempo where the nothing happens, and then everyone dives into it thinking that they need to do something now because they've been sitting back for a while. And then it's a bit too late into the play. So if Accelerate can just tighten up, get all three players in and around there, obviously offset into the 2-3 man role with the defender, blah, 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 blah. But actually get more people involved in this, I think they've still got a great chance to bring this back as we head into game number 3.
Yeah, given the volatile and fluid nature of Rocket League, you do feel, oh, here we go, surely, yes, it is, V van Rooyen, who made only 100 points in the last game, has now just bettered that with this shot, getting 100 points for the goal. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first lead we've seen from Accelerate.
Yeah. And again, it comes exactly what I was saying there. Van Rooyen was up, he was pushed in, and the loose ball comes out, takes advantage, even takes the time to make sure that the shot's going to be good, and gets it past the defender. Oh, so close to a pinch, Jakes, you monster! And 2 players in the air, neither of them for Accelerate going to be able to find this, but Van Rooyen has got his goal, he's got himself back into the 3rd man role, and keeps Accelerate safe from the counter-attack. Now they get a chance to go once more.
Well, they've certainly had the best of it this game. They're looking as discoordinated as they look, given the point spread in the last game. They seem to have come out here a lot more coordinated, a lot more synergy between the team.
Certainly right now, and they're certainly seeing the benefits of that, getting their shots in there. Cornflakes with that 1v1 prowess. Darkadeck has work to do, has to go up for this. It's a good touch towards the side. Still, the danger's not over. Bruv takes towards the sky. He's going to have 2 players turning in behind him. And that's a great push out towards the side, assuming Swifty Rocks does not manage to get a touch on that. Certainly.
The shot, that's going to be wide, and there you go, your ongoing complaint. No one there, the Bruv late to follow up. And it does mean he was 3rd man, left themselves exposed at the back, and they couldn't scramble back in time and Accelerate, looking comfortable for the first time this series.
Yeah, that's the danger of hanging a 3rd man that deep, is you now kind of get baited into challenging too late, and then you're vacant in the back line. The counterattacks are such a big part of Prospect Rocket League, and Accelerate, suddenly we were worried about them in this series. They're looking strong, looking to go up on the backboard. Jake's again causing consternation. Got one more in tow. That's a great jump. Van Rooyen tried valiantly there. Almost deserved the goal, but Omega Force going to be happy that they kept that one out.
And defender of the series for me so far has been Bruv. The number of clutch saves that he's made. The fact that he's had to make it is another topic, but the fact that he's been there. Okay. Now Cornflakes, who loves his ground play, we've seen that, and his first instinct is to dribble on the ground, but here we see him in the air with your standard air dribble, slicing through the Accelerate defense.
Love it. You know what? For a person who's already shown that they can dribble on the ground, you're allowed 100%, because that was spectacular, and nearly gets a 2nd goal for their efforts straight away. Does Omega Force still around, but not going to be a kickoff goal just yet. But definitely Cornflakes, a player that I'm looking to step up into that Rivals division soon. And another one, Jakes, looks like a man who's here to carry a nation.
Well, first with the double tap, and now with the undefendable African bouncer.
I did call out your African bouncer. Full credit to you there, the man who coined the term himself. And yeah, Accelerate managed to get back up to that more comfortable position of 2 goals with that African bouncer of Jakes the Snakes. It picks the sky once more. Doesn't get the first touch. Decent attempt at a ground pinch, actually. Oh, shots wide.
I do like Cornflakes' instincts in terms of his desire to control. Bruv, well, bang it in and bring the deficit to just 1.
Oh, the bait up there from Swifty Rocks, I think would have loved to have got that touch, but that was the follow through. Again, these players are starting to trust their teammates a little bit more and go in with them. When we've got the chance to attack, we all need to be involved in it. And Megaforce have brought this back, suddenly Accelerate. They've looked comfortable for most of the game. But right now, it's always so tenuous when you're 1 goal ahead, only 1 goal. They'd love to put another one on there in the last 2 minutes, just to give them that cushion.
Yeah, and it is also when you look up at the time and go, okay, now it's only 1 goal, but there's still 1:45. It feels like it's way too long to just look to hold on to a lead. You've still got to put in work, still look to score, and then one weird awkward bounce or pinch in the corner, and that deficit, your lead is wiped away.
A good challenge from Cornflakes there. Actually dispossesses on the dribble attempt. Dark Adept up to the shots, and 2 players required for the follow-up after that, but at least manages to get it out. And Van Rooyen there, he was the one tussled off earlier. Let's at least get a second chance to get in there, but has to watch the ball sail overhead. The shot follow-up is there. The idea was right. The execution just not up to task for Omega.
Yeah, great opportunity there, but they are under pressure. Accelerator struggling is a tough thing because they've defended it, they've kept it out, but the pressure has been sustained over a little bit of a period of time. Loose ball in the middle, and Omega Force will now be able to come forward. Cornflakes now looking for the cheeky double off the side wall to maybe pass to a teammate, and their pressure continues. They've got 30 seconds to turn this pressure into an equalizing goal.
Oh, the awareness was there. Cornflakes calls for the ball, and he takes control of it. Absolute synergy from the squad there. You can see that Swifty was trying to do the turnaround, and Cornflakes just is no. Just no. Mine?
That is just, as a defender, that is absolutely my worst. I hate being done like that, and it is so savage and brutal. But Cornflakes breaking at least 2 sets of ankles on his way to that equalizing goal.
And it could not have come at a better time. 20 seconds left on the clock. They're once more into it, and it really does come down to that extended period of pressure that gave them that opportunity, but they made it work. They came out with the goal that they needed. Now they need to just make sure nothing cataclysmic happens on the other side. They're going to be content, I'm sure, for this ball to top down. Maybe one more tail. Cornflakes pops up towards the center. Swifty was there with the jump, and no chance for the counter-attack to accelerate. Have to just find the ground in their own half. We're up to the overtime.
It is overtime, and this is frustrating. Accelerate. They had the lead. They had the control. They've kind of you were alluding to. We were talking about one-day cricket and the propensity for teams to kind of fall apart, and that feels like what happened with Accelerate. They should have comfortably taken game 3. That's heading not toward the net, wide. My first thought that it was heading toward an open net, but critical force. Omega Force survive for now.
Jake's had the backboard attempt, but he's pasted out the defender. That's all he needed to do, and Dark Adept with a straight shot there pulls Accelerate into their first victory here in the series, and they could not have wanted it. It was their game to lose the whole way through. They eventually had to relent to an overtime, but they do at least manage to finish it off. They redirect with game number 3 in the bag.
There will be no sweeps tonight. If I'm not mistaken, hasn't it been 3-1 in every series tonight?
Yep, I think so.
So we're on track for a consistent scoreline throughout the night.
Consistency is what we like to bring you guys. The script was written at the beginning, or the script is not completely signed, sealed, and delivered there, friend. We do still have Accelerate with the opportunity, and they did look in game number 3 like a different team compared to 1 and 2. So I think that this game is still very much, with the momentum at least, towards our redirect side.
Yeah, I mean, they took the long route to victory there after looking like they were speed running it early on, and then conceding all those goals and having to finish it off in overtime. But finish it off they did, and they've got a crucial single point. And of course, they look to double that up now and at least come out of this with shared spoils. And given the momentum, they should be able to do it.
They should be able to. Again, just tighten up those double commits. There were still a couple of those there. Omega showed that they're really good on counterattacks. I mean, a counterattack doesn't even just have to be an open goal. Giving someone like Cornflakes the opportunity for a 1v1 is not something that you really want to be risking if you're on the side of Accelerate. But certainly gathering themselves as a team together, and that's a nice chip. Cornflakes with work to do does manage to scoop it up and out there.
And Cornflakes on the evidence of 3 games, and we have to get through this last game, but so far has my vote for series MVP. Yeah. He's done good work in defense, but his ground control and work in attack has been sensational this series.
Yeah, I would say the best player on the field, arguably only going up against Jakes. And it feels like Jakes has had to do so much on his own, but has been up to the task there. So those two are certainly rivaling it out for top shots, top goals, top impact on the game, and we'll have to see. I think we let it decide by the series score. If Jakes can actually pull this through for game number 4 to pull it back to a draw, yeah, I'm going to take an even look and throw his name back in the ring, but they've got to worry about a loose ball at the back there, as Mega always looking for that opportunistic moment.
So I see we got a Dominus out, Dominus out on the pitch. I think it's Dark Adept in the Dominus, and saw a couple of them at Comic-Con today. Oh, Cornflakes, the man we were just talking about. Now getting involved. You can't keep him out of the action. First with the flick, and then the instant follow to get it off, to get it past the last man. Great work.
Yo, I said that a double commit is a bad thing, and that went into the middle of his first challenge then, leaves him with a 1v1, and the fact that he collects it afterwards and follows it through is just a testament to his skill, but well played there. But yeah, I like the Dominus. I think it's making a comeback.
I think so. I mean, I saw a couple of you don't really see it a lot these days, but I feel like there's some recency bias, but yeah. Oh, Cornflakes again, up to his dirty tricks. Doesn't work out, but it came close.
And Roy's got a bit of a look here, goes over the one there. Bruv, of course, the stalwart defender that you highlighted earlier, manages to get in the way of that and scupper the plans of Accelerate, but they're at least having their first period of residency here on the other side of the field. And Cornflakes once more just looking to challenge as many of these Accelerate defenders as possible and then leave it up to his team, but doesn't get away with it this time.
All right, Omega Force then, with the 1-goal lead, and keep in mind that their wins have all been 1-goal wins, but bruv, getting involved once more to double up on the lead, and they will be feeling far more comfortable now.
Yep, if they have to relent to a 1-goal lead, that'll be okay for them right now, but looking to break that historical stance right now with 2 goals and half a game to go. But it's like you said, when you see that much time left on the board and your opponent's bearing down on you like this, it never really tells the full story. It never leaves you with a happy, warm feeling as they're cutting back and forth. Ricochet's out of the corner, this time gets trapped in it, and Cornflakes has the time to pick this up. He's baited one up high, baits a second with the fake, looks to take it to the corner, realizing he can't get around, but it's created the overlap that his team needs, and Mega Force would love to put pay to this right now, but they get nothing in those 30 seconds.
And Bromeo with the chat of the night, renaming Cornflakes to Cornflakes, which is a great rebranding, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't pick up on it.
I love it. Yeah, petition, guys. If you know Cornflakes in real life, please, we need a Cornflakes. But certainly making a movie of it, nearly muscles the way through there. Van Rooyen has not shown delicacy in his approach when it comes to his attacks, but certainly, again, if he gets a goal, it works.
And once more, I'm not sure that Bruv is in contention for series MVP, but absolutely for defender of the series. Yeah. He's managed to find himself at the right place at the right time so many times on defense.
That just shows maturity as a player, not getting embroiled in the chaos and the maelstrom that everyone else is diving towards, just having the awareness to stay back and then come in for big, impactful plays. Van Rooyen takes this guy, just one to beat there, drags it up and over the top, and it's just heartbreaking that it's not on target because he did all the work and Accelerate still yet to find that opening goal.
Yeah, and not much time to find the opener and the equalizer. They pretty much have to get going right here, right now. Oh dear, Cornflakes is on the ball. And yeah, maybe Accelerate wising up a little bit and not allowing him too much time to work his way around the field. Gets past one, but not the final defender.
Again, a Mega Force now just cramping up their opposition, not letting this ball go. Van Rooyen's going to have another chance to come through. Good intercept by Dark Adept, at least keeps the ball on the purple side and going to be chasing this into the corner. Cornflakes gets it up towards the teammates, and of course, Bruv is so reliable on that point there. instead. Van Rooyen going to come in from a different angle, trying to test Bruv once more. Gets a decent bit of a 50.
Oh, no.
And the shots, Dr. Depp had to make that happen.
We've all been there. His eyes lit up. And he was already watching the replay before he had got it for the shot. And the next moment he had whiffed past it.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring a closure to our final game of the night. It is going to be a 3-1 victory, time and time again over 4 series, and Mega Force retain their undefeated streak. They're going to be ecstatic with the way this came out. A pretty convincing win at the end of the day, and certainly looking like the more composed side. But man, Accelerate, you had me going with your rally there in game number 3.
And yeah, the first 2 series of the night, we had the teams winning 3-1, and the last 2 series of the night, the 2 teams losing 1-3. So there you go.
Some variation for you guys, just to keep it interesting. But certainly Cornflakes, I think this is the moment to address it. Cornflakes, I would say, the well-deserved MVP. You said it yourself, Graybeard.
I think so. I'll be surprised if it's anybody else, and we'll get the series MVP stat up on the screen in a moment. But certainly deserving of it. And I think it's coming up right there. Cornflakes it is. Cornflakes, the series MVP. And there you see it, 13 shots and 5 goals. And also a few ankles he can add to his tally.
Yeah, I mean, the series stats don't show the number of fakes in there. But, I mean, getting involved everywhere there. 5 saves, 6 demos there. Only the 1 assist. But, I mean, the side, you don't need anyone else when you can defeat all 3 on your own. But, I mean, what a close fight between these 2 teams. Look at that. Saves, neck and neck. Shots, just 2 within it there. Demos more heavily favoring the side here of Omega Force. But other than that, I mean, Redirect, they were just blitzing around the pace of the field with 6,000 more boost usage. And they just kind of, that was their mentality, I guess. Throw bodies at the ball and hope it worked.
And of those 17 saves from Critical Force, I reckon close to half must surely have gone to Bruv. It feels like every time there was a save off the goal line, Bruv was somehow involved. So yeah, very, very well played to them, and deserved winners here. But overall, a very consistent night. No sweeps, which is nice because it's always rough seeing the sweeps, and no draws. That has seemed to be the theme of Stream Night. A lot of draws, but not one in sight this evening.
Oh, that makes me happy. We're starting to see the rankings breaking up a little bit. You know, every week that you manage to actually stack a couple of points behind your team and behind your organization as a whole, I think it's fantastic. So I know that there was a lot of avid supporters out here, and a big shout out to you guys in the chat for that. It was lovely to see the amount of support that we've had, considering the amount of Rocket League that we've had. But I mean, Premier, that was still an enjoyable series to watch.
I mean, I was watching from the sidelines. Thankfully, Greybeard coming back just in time from his game to cast an absolute clanger. So I knew going into this match that both of these teams were very good. I know Redirect absolutely clanged my team last week, so I was a bit in favor of Critical Force. But the way it played out, I couldn't have foreseen it coming. But those dribs by Cornflakes, though, wow.
Savage. Yeah, definitely a player to watch. I was very impressed with his. I love that his first instinct is control. And if I want to be critical about how I played tonight, and I was critical about players I was watching at Comic-Con with the tendency to just throw the ball away. And Cornflakes, his instinct is absolutely not that. His first instinct is control, and it is such a valuable asset to have as a player.
And I think that was actually the story of this entire matchup here. You know, when you start to watch the rivals and the prospect tiers, how many of the players are jumping for something just because they can get a touch on the ball? They don't consider where the ball is going to go after that moment. You go up in the middle, and then you get a soft touch. It just drops down straight into your opponent's hands, and then they can get a build-up play going. So it is something that definitely Cornflakes made the greatest impact and deviated away from that. And it just shows the efficacy. And you can see that that's been a long-term mentality that this player has had, because they go, okay, control was the first step, but then what do I do with the ball once it's now in my grasp? And certainly, like you say, both him and Jakes the Snakes, players to watch, players that are going to be rising up through the RSC ranks.
I gotta say that really was a fantastic tactic they used, and it's something we don't see enough in Prospect, is controlling the 50, taking it in first, and you saw it with the first game of the evening with who was it again? It was Joker's Dynasty versus Unitok Tswana. That was just a whack-a-mole game. Hit the ball as hard as you can. But you see, the better the team gets, the better they are in controlling the possession. And that's what I really enjoyed tonight. But there have been some fantastic results this evening all round. Like you said, there was 3-1s from the beginning right to the end. So we really were treated to some good Rocket League this evening.
All right, I just want to say, as my last word is, we spoke about how much the Prospect and Rivals seem to have a lot more fun, and they are always lining up to have their games on stream. We had no Elite games tonight. We are yet to feature a Master game on stream night on Thursday. So to all the GMs, the AGMs who are watching this stream, get your Elites and your Masters in. We need to see that level of gameplay as well. I love watching the Prospect players, the Rival players, but we need the high-level players in as well. So my appeal, let's get the Masters live here and on stream.
And Alt, some closing thoughts from you.
Obviously, still lots of Rocket League to watch over the weekend. Greybeard's going to bring you all that from Comic-Con, so go watch that because it's really exciting. It's not just the pros, which we always love to see, but the finals of the high school league. I mean, these guys are Champ 2, Champ 3 players, and so they are well worth watching. Those are the future stars. All three of us here on the desk are such avid supporters of the high school esports scene, so definitely go worth watching that. And I'm going to be there. I'll see you guys in chat.
Well, those are some good thoughts indeed. Remember to support Greybeard and the rest of your fellow RSC players who are playing there tomorrow. But that's us for now. So thank you for closing in this week 3 with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season will bring. So remember, stay tuned, chat. We're here every Thursday, and it's been a hell of a ride, and it's only going to get better from here. So from me, Bromeo, and the rest of us here, peace.